Good morning, guys, and welcome to the 2024 UNCLOUD Victorian Open Short Course Championships. We are on day 2 of our incredible program. It is our heats session this morning. We had some brilliant racing yesterday, including an Australian age short course record in the 100 breaststroke. Lily Kosh took half a second off Tessa Wallace's time from 2008, so a pretty long-standing Australian record there. We also had a world record last night in the 50 butterfly for men's multi-class, with Nicholas Leighton dropping a little bit of time off that one too. So we had our surveyors come in and make sure our pool was exactly 25 metres. Very official stuff when we got the all clear for that world record. So some exciting swims as we kick off this morning's heat session with event 36. My name is Kalia. I'm joined by Sean this morning. Let's get underway with our men's 200 metre freestyle.
Well, we have 5 heats of this 200 metre freestyle this morning. Lane 3, Yuan Lokama having a good first 50 metre there.
So the boys in these 5 heats battling it out for 10 spaces in our final session this afternoon for those incredible state open medals up for grabs.
Yuan Lokama there looking good into the first 100 metres. As Kalia said, they're fighting out for 10 spaces tonight. Anyone in any of these heats can make it, so these boys looking to put a good time on the board this morning.
Down into that 150 metre turn, Yuan there, still your leader. Zachary Gordon made up a little bit of ground in that third 50 from the outside lane there, lane 6. He's finishing nice and strong as the boys come into their final turn.
Yeah, really beautiful fast 50. Last 50 by Zachary Gordon here, really challenging Yuan, who's led the whole way. He's breathing the other way, so we'll see if he can catch him. But it will be Yuan 158.73, Zachary 159.04. Jacob coming in there 201.87. Really great swims by all those boys.
A little bit of a victory celebration there from Yuan as well. Always good to look up and see going under that 200, his entry time of a 202. It's a big drop from him. Boys underway now in heat 2. Short course swimming, often talk about how important those skills are, particularly our turns when we come to short course racing. Got twice as many walls to go around, Sean.
Definitely, short course is a bit of a different one, but swimmers love swimming it. It really shows who's dominant in those skills and who isn't. So lane 6 having a really good first 50 there. Callum Rosetto, we saw him yesterday morning in some freestyle events, and he really did some great PBs in the 400 metre freestyle. So look to see him try and really put a good time on the board.
Always a nice feeling in these early heats to be able to get out quickly get away from the pack and almost lead and swim your own race there. He just has a little bit of a look over to the other side of the pool on that turn.
And the beautiful thing that I love about Callum is he breathes bilaterally, and so he can see his competitors on both sides of the pool, being sort of in those middle lanes. He can really see who's challenging him. Lane 4, Adonis there, challenging him, trying to, and lane 9, Jack Gurry, having a good swim as well.
Yeah, a bit of a different event for Jack Gurry. We normally see him in the iron swims mostly.
Well, Callum has led from start to finish. He's really pushed. He went out hard, he went out strong, but he's held on and he'll touch the wall in a great time of 1:52.80.
It's a fast swim from an early heat, so keep an eye on that time.
Jack Gurry there, 1:55.23, also a really good swim. And lane 3 as well, Adonis 1:56.57. All those boys dropping some really great times off their entry times.
Particularly in those heat swims, if you can do a nice drop like that one, really put yourself in the running for those finals. We'll also notice it is day 2, so might be missing a few athletes. They're going to be a little bit fussier about what events they're choosing to race this morning.
Especially because we saw so many people and swimmers in so many different events yesterday. Might be a few tired swimmers this morning.
Definitely, and last night final session we ran a little bit early and the turnaround time between events was quite short. We saw a lot of boys and girls having to back up quickly. In particular, there was one race where the guys didn't even get time for a swim down. They were just wandering around waiting for their next event, trying to shake out some of that lactic acid. So,
especially with relays as well, Victorian Open Championships, we know that sort of the pinnacle of our short course season. So swimmers are doing a lot of relays, they're doing their individual events, so they're swimming quite a lot of events.
Especially short course, it's only a 2-day competition, so we have all of our events spread across the 2 days into 2 sessions really for our heats, so not a lot of time if you're a bigger program athlete or have a few more main events. I know this morning a lot of the boys talking about making the decision between the 200 freestyle and the 200 backstroke. They're pretty tolling and taxing events on the legs in particular. It's quite difficult to be able to race both of them. As we see here, heat 3 in the water. We've got some familiar faces from last night's final session. Tommy Lane,
yeah,
1500 winner.
With those withdrawals, it really puts in Callum Rosetto the time that we just saw in the heat before. He's not in a seeded heat, so our seeded heats are our top 30 of this event, seeded across the last 3 heats of the event, and he wasn't in one of them, but he's really put himself out there to try and make the final with his 1:52.80. So we'll see with a lot of these withdrawals whether or not he can try and get there.
He really swam well yesterday in that 100 freestyle. Do you remember? He was, he was really on fire in the heat. So
Oliver McKenzie in lane 6 here, leading us through at the 150 metre mark. Put himself a little bit of a distance in front of the other boys in this heat, but there's a lot of guys coming through in this final 50. Robbie Dillison over in lane 0, he's starting to make a bit of a shift in gears, moving his way ahead of Tommy Lane in lane 4.
We know that Robbie Dillison is a great open water swimmer, so he will have that distance in that background. So same as Tommy Lane, but it will be Oliver McKenzie 1:50.92, Robbie Dillison 1:52.58, and Tommy Lane 1:52.96.
So that sits Callum in about 3rd now. Definitely in that contention for finals this evening.
Okay.
they definitely thought, I've got to learn, I've got a chance, and you do, because there's only 5 heats of this 200 freestyle, which is quite surprising, really. So, and quite a few people have dropped out, so here's your chance, really, to make the final.
We see heat 4 in the water now. It's a quick start from Toby McComish. We know he's a great 100-metre freestyler. Did a fantastic relay leg to bring home the MLC boys last night.
Liam Malloy in lane 4. He's a regular name that we see in these events, challenging Toby McComish a little bit now as well.
Might almost have a little bit of an advantage in this particular heat with no one in the lanes either side of him. That free water, clear water, you're not going to get it stuck coming off those walls and that turbulent drag zone area.
Yes, especially being short course, it's a lot more splash to try and get under to come out into clear water. So over in lane 2 though, Daniel is having a ripper last 100 metres here. Toby and Liam really took it out, but Daniel is starting to come through with 50 metres to go now.
I think this is going to be a really solid time from Toby. He's held on brilliantly through that third 50 after setting the pace early on.
Yeah, Daniel, he's a tough competitor. He's a real hard trainer. I think it'll give him a lot of confidence, especially Liam Malloy. There's always been a bit of a tussle between the boys from Cheltenham in his age group, so they did a great job, those lads.
It's our quickest heat so far, 150.92 from Toby. And then great last 50 as well by Ash Nichols of Traralgon. Put himself up there with a 152.4 in 4th, so it's looking like it's going to take a 152 to make this final. This final heat about to get underway here. Some big names from across the weekend already.
Yeah, Harvey Lark, he represented Australia at the Junior Pan Packs last time. But no, Millard, we've only got him for another few days, I think, before he goes back to the States.
Noah will take that first 50 out in 24.89. It's nice to see that this is a full heat, so I have a feeling that this heat might be the fastest that we will see this morning.
Yeah, I spoke to Noah back in February at Long Course State Open Championships about his focus being the last couple of years really to work on his skills and his underwaters. So that's something him and his coaches have been really pushing. You see they're nice and smooth as he comes off each wall, good transition. One of the main things I like to look for is that change between those butterfly kicks underwater into the freestyle kicks, making sure there's no, what I call a dead zone, that stop between the two.
James Ward's having a good race too. He's predominantly a 100-metre swimmer, but he really puts in training. So I think it's quite a surprise. Also, he's been in the States, so both Noah and himself will be, working on that underwater work yards all the time. But
certainly noticing a lot more of those 100-metre swimmers coming up into the 200 now. We've seen Kyle Chalmers start to race more 200s as well, so it can definitely be done. And this morning it's looking like those 100-metre guys are having a really great run. We saw Toby in the last heat. I know Lachlan Jackett-Simpson over in lane 2 who's just picked up 3rd in this heat. Great 100-metre sprinter.
Well, that definitely was our fastest heat of this morning. A lot of those boys progressing through to the final tonight.
what's the record for that 200 freestyle?
Actually held by Grant Hackett.
Oh, is it?
143.
Well, it may be in the near future then.
So we move along now to event 37 on our program. This is the men's 100 metre butterfly for multi-class. Our multi-class races, we are swimming heats and finals at State Open Championships. So to progress through to the final, instead of just being a straight final, you do have to qualify, which means you have to swim this morning. It's a great opportunity for our multi-class athletes to get the chance to actually be able to back up and do 2 races in one day.
Definitely on an international stage and a national stage, these athletes would be doing heats and finals, so to allow them to have that opportunity is really great to see. There's only 4 of them in this race, but allowing them to have a chance to swim at night as well and practice coming out, swimming a good swim in the morning and then again swimming at night is so important, because at the end of the day on our big stages, that's what you've got to do.
Coming down to touch here, James Logan from MSC, Melbourne Swimming Club. He'll touch in a 105.97. It's a massive drop in time from his entry time of a 108, so 3 seconds under his personal best there. I'll be stoked about that one.
They had such a big day yesterday as well, the multi-class swimmers. I think I've just heard that James Ward may have been disqualified in that previous heat.
Yes, unfortunately went past the 15 metres off his start. In freestyle races, you can't go past the 15 metres on the underwater. His head didn't break the surface before the 15 metres, so he was disqualified, giving someone else an opportunity to swim tonight.
Always a little bit risky. When you're so good at those underwaters, all it takes is you to be just going a little bit faster on a particular day. It can be the difference between being right at that exact 15 metre mark or just slightly past it. And we do know James has those brilliant underwaters. We saw them last night. Really pushes the envelope on making sure he's within that 15 metre rope, and it hasn't quite paid off this morning.
And there are no markers on the bottom. You know, you've got the markers to say you've got, 2 metres to the end. But there are actually no markers on the bottom of the pool to say that's 15. It would be helpful, I guess.
We head into now event 38 of the women 100 metre butterfly multi-class. We've got 2 girls in this event this morning, Grace Ryder in lane 4 from Ivanhoe Swim and Evie Lee in lane 5 from Geelong Swimming Club.
Yeah, these girls backing it up from last night's finals. Coming right back in for the 100 fly.
Both girls looking really nice in their technique this morning, trying to stay low and smooth.
Yes, they are.
Butterfly, all about that rhythm. Super important to find it early on, particularly in a race like the 100.
Yeah, we talk about butterfly being one of the toughest strokes, but if you get it right, it's not as hard as you think. And it's, as Carlia just said, all about the rhythm.
Yeah, Evie Lee seems to be making a good push in this second 50.
You can see she's just brought in those legs on this final lap. She's really flying home.
Yeah.
So good to see her training. She's trusting in that training and that fitness on that final 25. But Grace there finishing now in a 126.80. And Evie, nice little personal best. And look, the girls giving each other a high five. That's a nice way to finish a 100 fly.
Certainly is. Sometimes you can't lift your arms up to give each other a high five.
Yeah, they must have a little bit of energy left for tonight.
You should have gone a bit harder there. Yeah, it's quite hard. You can see why some of the boys, boys, pulled out of that 200 free, because the 200 back is straight away, and it's hard on the legs. So can you imagine doing both?
Definitely. We obviously only have 2 days worth of racing here, so a lot of our events are close together, and as we know, backstroke and freestyle tend to go hand in hand. When you're an athlete, if you're good at backstroke, you may be also good at freestyle, so these boys just choosing their poison, I guess.
Yeah, this is one that I'm really looking forward to watching, actually. But speaking of boys to men, what Sam's just mentioned, I'm having a little bit of a look across the program, and this is State Open Championship, so if you do qualify with a qualifying time, you are eligible to race no matter your age. And in this first heat, we actually have a 13-year-old being represented, so that's a pretty impressive feat there. We also have another one coming up in Heat 3, so those youngsters really pushing these older athletes across the board in some of our higher level racing here in Victoria.
Definitely. I think that's the beautiful thing about open swimming. You get to see the youngsters take it to the older athletes who have probably done a hell of a lot more 200 backstrokes than those 13-year-olds.
So this is event 39, the men's 200 metre backstroke, and we have 4 heats. Our first heat in the water, athletes all around that 220 mark, so we'll be trying to go under that 220 mark from heat 1. Then we'll see our circle seated heats from heat 2 onwards.
Some nice still head positions there.
Lane 3, Zayden Burton taking out the first 50 in a time of 31.12. That's a good first 50 from him.
Yeah, Zayden's originally from the Sail Swimming Club. Took him in his very first squad. He's certainly swimming his backstroke very well there now. Good rhythm in his stroke. Nice smooth transition into his turn.
So halfway through, we'll expect to see some of those more endurance athletes start to pick up their pace on this third 50. Hopefully make a bit of a shift in gear, move through the field.
We talk about underwaters being such a vital part of short course swimming, and especially in an event like the 200 backstroke. No, it's so hard on the legs, but just getting those underwaters right as well really gains some distance on the rest of the field.
Lane 6, he's putting in some effort now, Jack Darling from DVE. But it looks like Zayden Burton's going to take this one out. I think once you get ahead on backstroke, it's quite a confidence builder. You feel like you can, control the race a little bit. Because you're looking back towards your opponents. I don't know if you ever felt that, did you?
Sometimes.
Sometimes, yeah.
Zayden Burton now coming
Nice
into the
time.
wall. 2:16.51. Coming in second there, 2:20.52.
Also, the nice thing about backstroke is you can look at the scoreboard, so you can kind of see where you're going, what time you're doing, and if you think, oh my goodness, at 150, I'm way ahead of what my PB would be, then you know, it's pretty good, isn't it?
So moving along now, heat 2 in the water, ready to go.
Heat 2 underway in the water now, first of our seeded heats. Lane 4 there, Campbell Wilson Moran. Had some really great swims yesterday. One of those athletes that we were talking about that has chosen to just do the 200 metre backstroke, not the double, because being so close together, the 200 freestyle, 200 backstroke, decided to focus on this one.
Just interesting to note the difference in technique between Campbell and Joshua Carnes next to him. Both slightly different approaches to this backstroke event. Campbell choosing to stay longer on the underwater, and then he's got a little bit of a slower stroke rate early on, whereas Josh kind of doing more of the work in the swim element, pops up a little bit earlier, but faster rating.
Also, Campbell choosing to wear that nose clip short course. Try and create a bit of power and to control your breathing rate. Short course, because there's a lot of turns. It's quite a good idea to wear a nose clip.
Particularly as someone like Campbell who does stay under that little bit longer, it's going to be a little bit more of a benefit for him.
Just starting to pick up his stroke rate now in this third 50, putting a bit of distance on Joshua. Coming into his last 50 now. This is looking like a pretty good swim from Campbell.
I think he's one to watch for the future. We really need form stroke swimmers, and yeah, just the way he trains and his relaxed kind of stroke, I think.
All these athletes this morning gunning for those 10 positions in the final tonight. I think these two swimmers here, Campbell and Joshua, will go through comfortably to the final tonight, but we'll watch to see what happens in the next two heats. 2:03.03 from Campbell there, 2:04.35 from Joshua.
Victorian record, Ash Delaney, 1:49.62. Gotta say,
it's very fast, isn't
it? Just obviously now coaching up at St Andrews, up on the Sunshine Coast, coaching Isaac Cooper and some of our internationals up there. And also Pal Chalmers now is training up there with him.
Heat 3 away in the water now. Good start there from the middle lanes. Harvey Lark backing up from the 200 metre freestyle just 5 minutes ago.
I mean, the fortunate thing for Harvey is he does do a lot of those longer distance freestyle events, so we know that he's got the training behind him to be able to back up races a little better than some of the other athletes in the field.
We saw Will Sharp yesterday have some good swims. He's looking comfortable at the moment, just slightly
Really wanted
ahead.
you to say he was looking sharp this morning, Sean.
I almost did. He's just starting to pull away now, putting about a body length on those other two boys, but it's a nice little battle between those two, Harvey Lark and Brian Zhang, on the outside lanes to Will Sharp.
I love how Josh Wachowski looks so cruisy in his backstroke. He's the most relaxed swimmer I think I've ever watched in a race.
Yeah, we were talking about that yesterday, about how, you know, it can look really easy to us, but they are putting the effort in.
All three of those boys in the middle lanes just starting to pick up their stroke rate now, heading into the last 25 metres, really turning on their legs and picking up their speed into the last 10-15 metres, heading into the wall.
So it will be Will Sharp, 2:01.3. Takes out heat 3. Harvey Lark, followed by Brian Zheng. 2:03 for both of those boys. Just 1/100th of a second separating them on the wall there.
I would like to add that that's a very good backup from Harvey there. 200 freestyle into 200 backstroke, 5 minutes apart. It's tough. And
we've got to think about how it's going to be tonight as well, Sean, whether or not he'll go through in both. I'm not sure where he ended up overall in the 200 freestyle.
I think Kendrick would say, yeah, he's got to do both, and that he's got to tough it both out, because, you know, really they haven't rested at all for this. So.
Heat 4 in the water now. Noah Millard also doing that backup. We just saw him in the 200 freestyle.
And Xavier Purcell is in lane 3. He's another tough. Harvey and he train together, and they really do push each other all the time. So Noah Millard, you know, he's backing it up, isn't he?
Alan Henry there. Sorry.
Henry Allen.
Yeah.
Henry Allen having a really good first 50 there. He looks really good in the water. His stroke rate's just that bit higher. He's sitting really high in the water. His head's nice and still, and that's what you want to see in the backstroke events.
Had a fantastic age championships, age nationals in April. Come away with a few gold medals and some sneaky medals in 50s that he wasn't expecting as well from lane 1. So he's really come into his own in the last probably 2 years. Just those age groups and was starting to develop through into open level athletes. So Henry just 16 years of age.
Definitely.
Couldn't tell it based off height. He's not
no.
not the tallest one in the field.
Their last 50 now, 200 backstroke, tough event, tough on the lungs, tough on the legs.
Oh, what a turn from Noah Millard.
Noah really using his underwaters to try and gain a little bit of distance on Henry, especially after doing a 200 freestyle. We know that his legs would be definitely burning, I think.
I think that's that experience coming through as well. Noah just kind of cruised through the first 150, and I think he trusted in his turns and knew he could just get ahead. But that's some great times there. 159.77 for Noah Millard. He'll take out heat 4. Henry Allen 200.72 in second there, and Xavier Purcell touches in third.
That's a great time from Harry McGraw. He's only 13 out in lane 9. 2:12.
Yeah, Alfred Hahn, also 13 years old in lane 7. So those boys 2:11, 2:12. A lot of really talented youngsters in that final heat there. We had Luca Brown, only 14 as well. So the youngsters really pushing it towards some of our older athletes here this morning at day 2 of our 2024 UNCLOUD Victorian Open Short Course Championships.
Yeah, I think it'll be really interesting to see whether those boys do both of those events tonight, the 200 freestyle and the 200 backstroke, being such tough events, both of them so close together. So we'll wait to see tonight whether or not they do back up that double.
As we move along now, this is event 40. We've got a bit of a change in pace for our backstroke racing, the women's 100-metre backstroke, our sprint event. This is heat 1 of 8. Remembering those 3 final heats circle seated, so we'll see our fastest athletes competing across those final 3 heats.
As Kalia just mentioned, a bit of a change of pace here, so you will see these athletes with a bit of high stroke rate compared to what we've just seen in the 200 backstroke. They've only got 4 laps of this 25-metre pool, 100-metre backstroke, definitely more of a sprint event, a bit more splash.
I do find as a coach, the thing you try and correct with them, sometimes you see them coming up and their arm just sticks out of the water before they start their first stroke. It's like they're waving to the audience. Do try and,
Having a good swim there, Zali Schneider's 109.13, a couple of seconds under her entry time. Great to see her cracking the 110 there. She'll be happy with that. And then in second, Shelby Morgan, 110.48.
Eight heats of this, so we've got a good number of girls deciding to get in there in the 100 backstroke.
It's great to see so many young athletes here in racing. We've got in lane 1 Amelia Leo, only 12 years of age. Elsa Wang in lane 9, only 13, and quite a few 14-year-olds in this heat. So many young swimmers giving it a crack out here this morning, which is just great to see.
Yeah, that's a great sign for Brisbane 2028. And we've got young swimmers at an Open Championships.
Definitely, obviously having a
Sorry,
home Olympic
2032.
Games, yes, in 2032 is such a great thing to have. Motivate these athletes to try and get there. Over in lane 3 though, sorry, lane 2, Romy Hurd having a really, really great swim here. Hopefully she can hold on, challenging her there in lane 4. Though it was Vera Wang, but it will be Romy Hurd, 107.85. What a great swim from her. Vera Zhang, sorry, 108.55, having a really good swim as well.
Just testing out the starting equipment there. You can see they're doing over the top startings. The girls have to really keep out of the way so that the next heat can start.
Heat 3 in the water now of 8. A really good start there over in lane 4 from our visitor, Ikua.
Now I did that yesterday. I attempted that.
You did a very good job at it, Sam.
Ikua Nakahe Gashi.
Yeah, we should go and ask our coach. She'd be able to tell us what she had to say it.
In lane 9 as well, Grace Cox having a really good swim. Only 15 years old. Lane 3, only 13 years old.
And Chimana Fahmy, 12. I gotta say, lane 6, she swum this with the goggles strapped down, and she hasn't flinched one bit, and they stayed on the whole time, turns and everything. I gotta say, good on you, Madison Brown.
Was Ikua there, 108.93. Good to see some 108 starting to come in. We saw it in the last heat, breaking that 110. She's from Japan. It's a long way to come.
I also just noticed on the program she's listed as S15, so that generally denotes one of our hearing impaired athletes in the S15 category. So racing as a classified athlete from our multi-class into our able-bodied events, which is pretty cool when we see that happen.
Heat 4 in the water now. Very close from all the girls there, but having a really good turnover in lane 1. Sarah Provoli. Underwaters being such a vital part of this 100-metre backstroke, can really gain some good ground on the rest of the field if you can stay underwater and really push out to the 10, 12 metres off each wall.
Both girls, Eloise Pride and Roland Wang, training virtually together. So it's who's got the ability, but then
Becoming a race of 4
1
as
and
well.
2,
They've
yeah,
all flown home in this final
absolutely.
25.
Wow, so close. Claire Matheson takes that out. From Ballarat Gold Swimming Club.
Some good drops from entry time again. So we've seen across the weekend a lot of personal bests being swum here. Sometimes the heats can feel a little bit flat and a lot of athletes will really rise for that finals experience, but nice to be swimming fast in the morning.
Definitely. When you get onto the national and international stage, there's not as much of an opportunity to swim a little bit easier in the morning. So to practice that is really important.
Our officials just noticed one of our backstroke ledges there, a little bit twisted up. So our officials, volunteers in their roles, we couldn't run these competitions without them. So we always give them a little bit of a shout out. They donate their time on their weekends to come along and make sure that our timing systems and our racing is all fair and official.
Especially when we've got things like world records being broken. Couldn't do it without them standing there, could we?
We really couldn't do it without them, so fantastic job from our officials. They are the ones in blue you'll see walking up and down the pool deck. So move along to Heat 5, and Liliana Jones swimming out of lane 9 here. She's setting the pace early on as they turn at the 50-metre mark. She's gone through in a 31.7, so that's very quick with her entry time of a 1:08. She looks certainly on pace to do a nice drop in time as well.
Yeah, she's certainly taken it out.
She's going to hold it there though. She took it out fast, but I think she's going to finish just as fast. 1:05.57, that's a great time from her. Well done, Liliana. Only 15 years of age, 1:05. What a ripper swim from her. In the water now, we have our first of our seeded heats this morning. Sienna Shepherd over in lane 3 had a ripper 200 backstroke last night, 2:10. So a really quick swim from her. More than sure she'll be happy with that. See what she can do this morning, and then hopefully tonight in her 100-metre backstroke.
Tara Kinder out in lane 8. Backstroker now. She's gone out quickly.
Yeah, it's good for a medley. You know, she's got to really race every stroke on an individual basis to boost her medley.
Tim and I spoke last night about the importance of the backstroke leg in the IM.
Well, it's like your engine, the back and breast, really. That's the middle part. It really separates the wood, you know, from the trees, as it were.
Well, setting the pace early on has worked for her. It looks like she will hold on to the finish there. 1:00.98 from Tara in that outside lane. That's going to be the time to beat here with just 2 heats left to go.
And a great swim from Sienna Shepherd as well, a 101. She's only been a 103 before, so
she'll be happy with that.
Yeah. A bit interesting from that heat. A lot of our middle lanes slightly off the pace there, so that opens up some space in that final later this evening. So I think we might just be having a changeover with our one of the backstroke ledges. The girls being told to wait. Now that water is a lot colder than the air temperature outside, so I have seen, I think it was Kira Jeffs that jumped out there, just trying to stay warm.
Yeah, definitely a bit of a cold pull here at MSAC, but keeping warm there. Well, we just saw 00.98 is the time to beat from the heat prior. Keep an eye out in those middle lanes.
It's a nice start from lane 8, Madeline Harvey, the 13-year-old in this field. We've got a couple of them. Kira Jeffs also still 13. Once again, those youngsters.
She has a lovely stroke, actually, I've got to say, Madeline Harvey. Just that precision, nice high head position, but it's back.
But here come those sprinters. Alana Banks there, 30.23, gets her feet on the wall first at the halfway mark.
Yeah, the experience of these girls knowing that they need to capitalise on their underwaters, going that sort of 7-8 metres off each wall.
Semra came through nicely on the third, 25 there, got her feet on 1/100th of a second faster than Alana at the 75, and she'll take out heat 7, 101.73. So not quite as quick as the heat previously. That time set of 100 by Tara, still our fastest as we come into heat 8, our 8th and final heat this morning of the women's 100 metre backstroke. Now, definitely someone to keep an eye on for the future, swimming out of lane 4 in this heat. Lily Kosh, just 15 years of age, broke an Australian short course record for 15-year-old girls yesterday in the 100 breaststroke. So we know she's a great sprinter. We know she's a brilliant breaststroker, and she's the fastest qualifier coming into this 100 metre backstroke this morning.
She's very statuesque, so you would say that her backstroke from her build would be pretty good. She lifts herself up really well out of that water for a start too.
Definitely interesting to see our breaststrokers also doing backstroke. It's not necessarily strokes that you see go together. We know Tara put that good time on the board, 00. She's a medley swimmer, but also known for her breaststroke as well. So,
but then you do have Kaylee McEwen. She does back breast too. So it might be a great combination for her. You know, 200 IM, backstroke, breaststroke.
Now we've got to talk about Lily Kosh there, 29.26. I think that's the fastest split we've seen at the 50 metre mark. So she's certainly on pace this morning.
We'll see if she can try and break that minute barrier.
I'm almost tempted to have a look at the Australian record.
Whether she can do that this morning or tonight in the final. She'll go down 101.03.
It probably will be Kaylee's, I would imagine.
It actually belongs to Minna Atherton.
Oh.
The 15-year-olds. It's a pretty fast time, 57.16. So So events getting even sprintier now. Event 41 on our program, the men's 50-metre butterfly. This is certainly the sort of power event of short course swimming. See a lot of upper body strength required as we go through the 7 heats we have this morning. Behind the blocks now, heat 1.
We'll see in heat 5 later on, Nicholas Layton breaking at the S15 world record yesterday. Let's see if we can have another crack at it this morning.
He's got another chance of breaking it again today.
Yeah, he did say he thought he breathed too much yesterday, so he might be trying to do it with no breath.
Touching the ball first there was Alex Chang, 27.44.
These 50-metre events just over in an absolute flash. A lot of this race is actually swum underwater, so in our short course races for butterfly, freestyle and backstroke, you are allowed to stay under the water 15 metres to that 15-metre rope. That is off the start and the turn, of course. Taking out heat 2 was Cooper Rushmeyer, swimming out of lane 1, so a nice little outside smoker there, 26.82. For that quick reaction off the blocks there. Harry McCraw, 0.49. Anything in those 0.4s is pretty fast off. Great swim from lane 9 here. Bart Horowitz of Melbourne Swimming Club. 11.84 on the turn. His time there will be our winner of heat 3, 26.21. Once again, those outside lanes often racing quickly. George Huang over in 2, 11.7 on the turn. And a great underwater from George. He absolutely flew off that wall. Timing of that finish, really important. I don't think his touch pad went off when he actually hit the wall there though, because it's saying only 1/100th of a second. And it looked to the naked eye a little bit like he was further in front than that. So I have to wonder whether or not that is correct.
Run the Hawkeye there.
I think that might be needed.
Yeah.
Either that or he just took a very long time to touch the wall, which I don't think is the case here at our Open Championships. These boys, quite experienced athletes. This heat might be a good one to have a watch. I know Nick might be a little bit tired from last night. He had a lot of racing yesterday, but he is one of our multi-class athletes, so swimming in our able-bod events. in this race, the 50 fly for multi-class last night. He went a little bit slower than his heat swim, so he broke the world record in the heat swim, his time of 24.70, a world record for his classification. He's out quickly there, 11.24. Jack Van Loon in lane 4, better off the wall there. It's going to come down to touch, timing onto the finish. So Jack, 24.59. He'll take out heat 5. Nicholas Layton there, just 4/100ths of a second off a new world record.
I mean, I'd be pretty,
isn't it?
I'd be pretty happy with that if I was him. Breaking it yesterday morning, only just 0.04. It's really nothing, isn't it?
It's absolutely not. It's a fingernail.
Well, hopefully that gives him a chance to do it again tonight in the final, that time.
So heat 6 in the water now. Not quite as speedy for these boys as our previous two heats. 11.5 on the turn for Nicholas Wu. I did get the message from Coach Michael that he might be retiring after this meet. So James Luina onto the wall there, 25.18. Now we've got a couple of these boys back again. James Ward.
Well, hopefully he doesn't go past 15 metres this time.
He had his warm-up, he's had his practice. I wonder if he might take a kick away off the start here. Oh. Now, if you're wondering why we've just made a bit of noise there, it looked like a bit of a flinch from James on the start.
And I think it was potentially all right because
they hadn't started.
They
didn't continue the start.
Yeah. I think the flinch
they had said stand down.
Yeah. I think the flinch was due to the stand down, not necessarily.
Yes, exactly. But it is a little bit nerve-wracking when things like that happen as well. It can kind of throw you off your game a bit. Hopefully for these older athletes, not too many issues. He is out in a 10.99.
It's fast. And I can confirm he didn't go past the 15, so he looks good
We're
here.
Thinking safe. Onto the wall there, 24.0. It's a bit over his personal best, but
still pretty quick, hey?
Has had a heavy morning of racing. Gives the head a little bit of a shake there. Eli Billman touches in second, 25.1. So a few of those boys, Jack Van Loon, Nick Layton, Joel Bailey, they'll all be into that final, swimming 24s this morning. We look forward to watching and seeing if a few more of those guys can get down into the 23s later this evening. Now, I'm just seeing a couple of athletes running out onto the concourse. It looks like we've had an amalgamation of our heats in the women's 400-metre freestyle, so they will wait for those girls to get there. They thought they would have had around 4.5, 5 minutes extra time up their sleeve, but we have combined heat 1 and heat 2 together here.
And we'll only see heat 1 and heat 2, or what was heat 2 and heat 3. Heat 4 we will see tonight, as this is a timed final, so these girls just having the swim this morning, trying to get out there and do a personal best for them.
And so that means our fastest 10 qualifiers on entry time go immediately through to the final tonight. They'll battle it out this afternoon. We see that in our events, 400 metres and above. We already asked quite a bit of our athletes backing up 200s in a row and then coming in the afternoon. I think it would almost be cruel to make them do a 400 heat and a 400 final.
Yes, I definitely remember swimming at this competition, and day one I'd be in the 200 IM, then the 200 backstroke, then the 200 freestyle, the 50 backstroke, and then backing up for a relay and doing it all again at night. So
Yep.
It's a tough, and then you come in the next day and you go, oh, I've only got hundreds to swim today.
Yes, definitely a lot of athletes quite happy they got the 200 flyover and done with yesterday. a few events like that on the program where you get the longer distance done on day one. It's quite a nice feeling of relief turning up.
Our Victorian Open Championship short course is swum over 2 days, obviously, but then you take it to the long course and it's swum over 3 days and spread out just that little bit more. So trying to get them all crammed in. There's a lot of events on the program here.
This is what all those hard training sessions are for and what it comes down to at the end of the day. We get to final session tonight. It's not necessarily the fastest athlete on the books who is going to be our winner. A lot of racing comes into play rather than just your entry times when you've got so many events on the program and backing up.
Definitely. Well, we've got 585 athletes entered here in this competition, but we have 2,125 entries. So if you look at that, on average, swimmers are racing 4 events in this competition, and I'm sure there's swimmers out there racing more than 4 events, but that's 4 events and then potentially 4 finals as well. So lots
That's
of
exactly
racing
right.
happening.
You know, because whatever events are swimming in the heats, quite a lot of these guys are going to be making finals, getting the opportunity to come back and race again.
400 freestyle though, 16 laps of a 25-metre pool. If this was 16 laps of a 50-metre pool, obviously it'd be 800 metres, but they would have a lap counter. So I always found if I did a 400 freestyle short course, it was so hard to count those laps and make sure that I was doing 400 metres and not any longer.
I think what used to go through my head was if I was dying and thought it was the end, I probably had 50 to go. Because it never quite is done when you want it to be.
I think the beautiful thing about being in the indoor pool here at MSAC is our scoreboard up there. You can sort of see if your goggles aren't too foggy.
This is, yeah, a newer element on our scoreboard as well is it actually does count the distance. So it can be really helpful for our coaches, people in the stands as well, our spectators to know where the athletes are up to. But also, if you are a little bit cheeky and freestyle, you can have a breathe and have a bit of a look as well. That didn't really exist when we raced it at Shana. Had to rely on the old brain for counting. But it can also be how you break it up, and we talk about this a lot, the different race strategies that go into a 400, whether you break it down into those 4 100s, if that's the way you want to count it. I found that is the easiest way to do it. Our athletes often have race plans that are broken down into those 4 100s, so if you have a focus for that element, you're going to be able to execute it and count at the same time. But the difficult part comes into play, I think, more when the race is close.
Oh, definitely.
And those racing instincts start to take over. It can be difficult to think about not only the lap you're up to, what your coaches ask you to focus on, and also trying to challenge and actually switch off from the thought process and let kind of ability show, and those racing instincts really take the front foot.
Having a great swim there, Stephanie. 4:34.29. She touched the ball there first, so that's a really good swim. From
Almost
her.
a 10-second personal best.
Yeah, definitely. As you were just saying, Kalia, your natural competitiveness comes out when you're racing someone next to you, and you might have 2 or 3 people next to you, and you've got to balance the act of racing your own race and your own strategy, but racing the people next to you, but then also counting your laps.
Yeah.
And there's a lot that goes into these more distance events, especially in a short course pool.
Because then you add in skills as well. You're thinking about your approach to the wall, the timing, making sure you're getting your breaths at the correct time. We don't want to be breathing right onto that turn and losing momentum.
And that's the beautiful thing about having such great depth in the 400 metre freestyle. I mean, we've got 3 heats over the course of the day, which is great to see. A lot of clubs, different clubs, but also swimmers from the same club. Being able to race someone in training and get used to having people next to you, and that's the beauty of having the depth that we have in Australian swimming. We know that We've got some pretty good 400-metre freestylers there.
You could say that. We certainly do. And particularly in our women's as well. So we're seeing here Maddie Brand taking it out very quickly there, 102.97 from lane 3, one of our athletes from Cheltenham Swimming Club. We do often bring Cheltenham up when these longer distance races come into play. We know they have a bit of a love, a bit of a passion for the longer races there. Coach Kelly Stubbins does an awesome job with those swimmers in a pool swimming competition realm as well as the open water too. So we tend to see athletes in those clusters of athletes from clubs. You're drawn to where people who are swimming faster. If you're a butterfly and there's people doing fast butterfly, that's where you want to be. You want to be in amongst it. You want to be able to train with those other athletes and have people that are going to push you at training because it's going to get the best out of everyone.
Definitely. And speaking of training partners, we've got a few young breaststrokers down at Caulfield Aquatic and a couple of the young boys heading off to Junior Pan Packs, racing in about a week, I think it is, maybe just under a week. And in Canberra, we've got Nicholas Dukas and Jacob Nimmo training partners, also training with Thomas Sutherland, breaststroker. They've got Daniel Cave there. Just the depth of breaststrokers at that swimming club. No wonder we're putting juniors onto a team. And then we've got someone like Giselle Davey. She's also heading there, and Jess Wilson as well from Nunawading. So really great to see 4 young Victorians on a junior team. I can't remember the last time we've had 4 on a junior team. And then obviously Thomas Sutherland as well, heading to Oceanias earlier in the year. So we talk about the training partners, the depth here in Victoria. It's definitely starting to become really prevalent.
Yeah, I think the last couple of years, and I know we talk about it quite a bit, but that post-COVID revelation, I think it is, of getting back into the swing of things. We had a lot of juniors miss some really important years of training, and we're just starting to see them flourish now. And I think this heat at the moment is a bit of a testament to that. We've just seen Lucy Doyle take over the lead in the last 100 metres, just 14 years of age. She is also like Arika Adenko in this heat, 14 as well. Maddie Brand's just 15. So these young girls and young athletes really starting to shine through in open age events.
It's definitely intimidating coming to an Open Championships knowing that you are racing the best of the best in Victoria. So for these young girls to be out here giving it a crack, really, really great to see. Hopefully in the next couple of years making that time final tonight.
So Doyley's still out in front there, 3:49 with 50 metres left to swim, and she is charging down this final 50. She put in a really big third 100, which I love to see. It's part of a great race strategy, being able to build through the 400, and she's still got some left in the tank to lift down this final lap. Just 5 metres left to swim for Lucy Doyle. She will take out heat 2.
And that is
4:21.
a great time. What a good time from her.
Now that time would actually have put her into the final ranked 4th, I think.
4th or 5th, one of them, yeah.
Around there.
We're using our maths here.
It was a long day yesterday. But that's a great swim from her. Maddie Brand there finishing in 2nd. But we have to remember as well, those times are eligible for medals. So if the girls come in tonight and they're off their game, that's a great swim. That's a fantastic time.
Just because we're swimming the fastest heat tonight does not mean that these girls aren't in contention for a medal. It just allows them not to have to swim a 400 freestyle twice in a really short amount of time.
So great job, girls. As we move along now, behind the blocks, event 43, the men's 50-metre freestyle for multi-class. A full heat this morning.
I was just about to say 10
We are
swimmers.
missing one athlete behind the blocks, unfortunately, but it's so great to have so many multi-class athletes competing across this weekend. We have a really good depth of multi-class swimmers in Victoria. We saw them compete at Nationals earlier this year and had such great representation. We've got 2 of them over in Paris at the moment. ready to compete at the Paralympics. Cole Pearce, Ahmed Kelly. You can check out Cole Pearce. The documentary is on and available to watch too. So really great story there. Another great swim. That's fast. 22.91. And a big celebration. I'd have to wonder if that's another world record.
I was going to say, I have a little inkling.
A suspicion.
That celebration might have meant...
He flew.
That was a beautiful
I
swim.
blinked and he was finished.
We didn't even get time to talk about the race.
22.9. Nicholas Layton. Brilliant.
And guess what? He gets to go do that all again tonight. So we've just seen him go 0.04 over his world record, potentially have broken another world record just then, based off the celebration. We are just guessing here. We have absolutely... We'll look into it a little bit more. But
that was a big celebration. From such a humble man, really, Nick. He's such a gentleman.
Definitely, and hopefully...
Very deserving of those incredible feats. So it's the girls' turn now, event 44, the women's 50-metre freestyle for multi-class. A few different levels of classification within this race. So if you aren't aware, our multi-class events are based on a point system. Each athlete has their individual classification. Their time at the finish of this race is compared to the world record for that particular classification. And then the FINA points they accumulate based on how close they are to that time. We then choose and select our winners based off the highest point score and then go down from there. But Alison Feely in lane 5, she's going to finish in first, 31.36. So it was a close race from all three of those girls in the middle there, 31s across the board. They are all different classifications as well. So anyone within the race that's the same classification, obviously first person to finish will be the winner of that grouping. But those guys get to come back and race again later tonight in the finals as well.
All right, well, we head into event 45, our men's 200-metre IM. 50 metres of each stroke here. We start with butterfly, head into backstroke, breaststroke, and freestyle. We love watching the IM. I think it's one of the most interesting races to watch, just due to the fact that some swimmers are going to be stronger at certain strokes than others. So it really makes for an interesting race. Can have many lead changes. We talk about all the time. Strong breaststrokers put together some really good IM swims, but also, you know, your butterfly backstroke freestylers also as well.
Yeah, and being a 200-metre event, it is that more middle distance. So you can see athletes with more of an endurance background, they're going to be able to finish a lot stronger than some of our sprintier guys. It's all about swimming to your individual race plan at the end of the day, and a short course executing those turns. So we are seeing here the breaststroke element tightening this race up quite substantially. Jared Wakefield making his way through into the lead in lane 5, just ahead of Will Panozzo, who had the lead earlier on.
And the advantage of touching the wall first in the breaststroke leg is the coming out and doing freestyle, we know that freestyle's faster than breaststroke. If you can be a body length ahead heading into that wall, we talk about that you double your lead coming out onto the freestyle.
Yeah, and although the time itself isn't that much of a change, that little bit of a break and gap between you and someone else can sometimes be enough to dishearten them. If you're in a close race, they're going to lift a little bit more, but if you can really break the other athlete, it can make a massive difference as the boys come down to touch there. And gosh, that finished very tightly. Lil taking out the win, 2:21.08.
All three boys there dropping about 2 seconds off their entry times, so
nice start to the IM.
Nice start. Really great last 50 there from the middle lane. Off and away in the water now is heat 2.
8 heats of IM. That's a lot of boys qualifying for this event. Looking for that nice relaxed butterfly element.
I always think a short course 200 IM, it's so different to a long course 200 IM. It's actually a little bit more sprinty because you've got those turns and you're changing strokes so regularly. You're not assuming as much. So I always find that some of our sprint boys tend to, or not sprint women as well, tend to actually come in and do this 200 IM short course just due to the fact that you can use your fast twitch muscle fibers just that little bit more.
We tend to see our short course swimming be quite a bit faster than the long course because obviously more walls, you gain that speed off the walls, and the fastest part of our race is those underwaters. So that means that those sprintier guys who do have that better speed and explosive power off the walls, they can take off quite a lot of time, and there's a bigger time difference between the 200 IM in short course and long course. So we'll see a small difference across the 50, a smaller difference across 100, but this IM, with that ability to change over a lot faster and more regularly off walls, there tends to be quite a lot of drop between the long course and short course times.
Now, for those that were just watching about 5 minutes ago, I've just had confirmation from Nick Layton himself that he did break the world record for the S15 classification 50-metre freestyle short course.
That's super exciting for Nick.
2 world records in one event.
In a casual weekend.
Casual
weekend.
And I tell you what, they've both been swum in the mornings. So he's swimming fast in the mornings, which is great to see. Just like lane 5 is there, 2:20.42. Sana Giesler, great job from him. All right, well, we've got heat 3 of 8 in the water now, having a really great start in that butterfly leg. It was lane 9 and lane 7, Oscar Campbell and Alexander Dalberg. We know that Alex is a good butterflyer, so we'll see how he goes through the next 3 strokes that are after the butterfly.
Yeah, this is the great thing about these earlier heats. We tend to see a lot of those outside lanes starting to come through. Some nice drops in time from those guys. But it's really good to see 2 of them going out quickly. You're not stuck out by yourself. It's nice to have someone just pushing you along a little bit.
Definitely when it's another outside lane and you're close, I think it's really great to see the boys out there racing. It doesn't matter what lane you're in. We know that lane 4 has been entered in the fastest time of the heat, but nice to see these boys really giving it a crack out here.
This is a really good breaststroke leg from Oscar Campbell in lane 9, swimming for Cheltenham. He did just have a bit of a cheeky look across the pool to see where Alexander Dahlberg was at the end of that leg. And you can just see that gap really widen into the freestyle. And he's flying down this final 25, so finishing really strong as well. 5 metres left to swim for Oscar Campbell, and he'll touch the wall in a 2:11.31. That is a big, big drop in time. And he had a bit of a look up into the stands. And I'm not sure exactly what was said, but so close, I think, was maybe so close to 2:10. Unsure on that one, but yeah, that's a really competitive swim there from him. He'll take out heat 3. So move on to the boys in heat 4. A couple of longer underwaters here. Thomas Radford in lane 8, Calvin Reid in lane 4. So Calvin, we know he's one of those great breaststroke swimmers. You'll expect to see him really push through this race in the breaststroke leg. As with our swimmer in lane 3, Jonathan Leong of Geelong. Another one of those awesome breaststroke swimmers. So keep an eye out for some of those guys when we get to that third 50.
Calvin Reid making the most of being in lane 4. Being able to see the others around. What kind of turn? Yep, crossover turn. Very nice. Most of these guys picking that.
Calvin looking very strong here. Got a nice lead of about 3 metres on the other guys. We tend to see that, as we spoke about before, being almost double leading into the freestyle. So we're going to expect to see him come off this wall very strong, in a great position to finish off this 200 AM.
Max Malone looking really good over there in lane 1.
Yeah, he held on well through the breaststroke. J-Lo moves himself into 3rd, just ahead of Jake Riches, so the 2 boys from Geelong. But with just 10 metres left to swim, it is going to be Calvin Reid. It's going to be a fast time, a little bit quicker than our heat before, so 2:08.24.
Nice PBs there. Second, Jacob Ritchie's 2:14. His entry time was a 2:18.37.
Yeah, Jake Riches, one of our younger athletes, really been excelling over the last 12 months. Getting the opportunity to race nationals.
Got Callum Rosetto again in this 200 medley. Just talking to his coach, who said that Callum's just switched on. He's eventually started to train properly. and it really pays off. And he also does surf life saving.
So definitely when we're looking at these athletes who are coming through that 16, 17-year age group, that's where it does become so important to start putting in the work. You can, as an age group or a junior, you can kind of rely a little bit on talent more than execution and hard work. But it does catch up to you. So in the pool, really important that these guys are putting in the hard yards at training.
Yeah, and especially with boys, I think they have to just get through that phase of, you know, being like, you know, until they do mature, you know. And you have to keep the fun in it, really, because just to keep them in it until they're ready.
I don't think that bit ever ends.
No, well, that's true, no.
So Damien Lane in lane 9 here, so for M1. He is out quickly, 1:00.69 at the end of that backstroke leg. We'll see what happens in the breaststroke. Callum Rosetto in lane 6, sitting in second here.
Yeah, he's got a good breaststroke as well, so it's not as if he's, you know... Lane 2 is picking it up, Brandon Wilson. Brandon from Shepperton.
Yeah, great breaststroker, Brandon. Coming through nicely in this third 50. Shifted himself into third position on that first lap of the breaststroke. Let's see who can finish off this race. Damien Lane has done the hard work, though, from start to finish. He looks like he's going to be a hard man to beat with 25 metres left to swim. He's going to be breathing across the pool, so we'll get a little bit of eyes on. Callum had a great turn, though.
Oh, he's tough. It kind of reminds me of Daniel Whiffen a little bit, you know.
Stroke for stroke under the flags there. That will be Callum 2:10.40. Damien in second, 2:11.11. And then Brandon in third, 2:14.43 to sum up heat 5.
Harvey Lark not swimming this, so he was backing up the free and the back, so I think he's decided that that's quite enough for the finals tonight.
I mean, fair enough.
Well, yes, absolutely.
Our men have a couple of other events on the program this morning as well after this IM, so he could be racing. I believe he'll probably be swimming the 800 freestyle tonight.
Yes, he does like a distance event.
So that'll be later on this evening. So with a couple of 200s in the mix there, might be worth having a bit of a break before that 800 free that we'll get to watch him in this evening.
And there's always the training now for our Open Water Championship, Australian Open Water, which is in January. So, you know, a lot of the surf lifesavers and the distance swimmers really need to take a look at the Open Water Australian Championships and the qualifying times now, because you can qualify in the pool and do qualifying times there. And it's a fantastic location, Busselton in Western Australia.
So halfway through this 200 IM, Adam Selwood has led us around 1:00.33. And I'll expect him to really push through on that lead in this breaststroke leg. We know he's got such a fantastic breaststroke, particularly for those middle distance races. He's had a great 200 breaststroke last night. Great off the wall there too. Got that nice undulating stroke that we love to see. Good little battle between Jack Gurry and Brian Jeng there, 5 and 6, as they turn into the freestyle.
Yeah, great underwaters there. Lane 5, Jack Gurry. And really pushing it, lane 7, Patrick Forster. He's giving it his all down this final 52. Geelong. Comfortable.
So Patrick from Swimland. Caps are similar though.
Oh, is it? There you go, Swimland.
Nice 2:04 there from Adam Selwood. It's our fastest time we've seen this morning. Should pick up a little bit of pace coming through the next few heats, but there are a lot of athletes missing here. That backup earlier causing a few people a little bit of pain, I would imagine. So move into heat 7.
It's definitely very rare to see 5 or 6 lanes just empty in a seated heat.
Feeling a bit guilty for Nicholas Liu out here in lane 8. No one wanted to swim next to him.
I know Thomas Sutherland has an injury, so he's out for this weekend. Nothing serious, just, you know, it's not worth competing and carrying an injury. Will Sharp also has decided to not swim, but Callum looks very comfortable here.
Callum.
Now, he had a fantastic night last night.
Oh, he did.
Lots of medals. I messaged him and said, that's a lot of bling, Callum.
Yeah, I was shouting at the TV. He also had a great split in the relay as well, medley relay.
I have to wonder whether he might have swum a bit faster with a bit of a shave down, Sean.
Well, that's
Appears
true.
to be something growing on his face.
He is rocking the moor there, yes.
Yes, whenever he shaves that, he says he looks about 5 years younger, so that only
he's
goes
only
for
young.
me.
And he is only young. He's only just turned 20. He was 19 just a bit ago, so...
He kind of looks a bit switched off here, to be honest.
I think
Fairly
so.
relaxed down this last 50.
Daniel Sitchabee's coming up on him there.
I wonder if Cal might just have a bit of a look on this last 25, try and stay in front. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, he doesn't want to.
Yeah.
But
That's good.
he's going to get there in the end. 2:08.07. I felt like that was a really comfortable 2:08.
It did look very cruisy. I'd say he's seen the heat previously, the times they've done, the amount of athletes missing from the field. He's taken a bit of a calculated risk there that he should still get a finals berth tonight with that one.
Especially getting his hand on the wall first. It's,
It is a bit riskier. I mean, this is a fuller heat for heat 8. We saw Cameron Rakini in the 400 IM yesterday do an absolute ripper. So we know his IM is on. He's swimming strength to strength at the moment each week, just dropping more and more time. Felix Dressel-De Bruyn, also a fierce competitor, loves a race. Really challenging in those last sort of legs of events. And then you've got Dom Sui looking fantastic early on here. We know he has a great start in underwater. Never discount Josh Wachowski. Every time I watch him race at 200 IM, he must be super confident because he's looked so cruisy in the fly, and then all of a sudden he'll be touching him first, and I don't know where it happens, but he just slowly builds his way through and comes out of nowhere.
interesting thing about the IM, it really, people just shock you. They come out of nowhere, depending on whatever stroke they're strongest at. But the benefit of being in these last heats is seeing the heats prior and knowing that the times that they've gone, and you can really calculate whether or not you have to give it your all or you can back off just that little bit.
For sure, as we've just seen another lead change here, so Cami just taken over in that breaststroke leg. Dom Sui still sitting in second, and here comes Josh Wachowski. This is the leg.
These boys, I think, swimming a bit faster than what those boys in the previous heat did.
It's like a little bit more effort going into it, not quite as relaxed. No one looks like they're really putting in 100% down this final 50. You know, I can see Cameron just kind of switched off on the legs. We know he can come home super strong with that 400 background. So if he needs to, probably put the motor on. But Yeah, no surprise. Josh Wachowski, probably nearly the last person to touch the wall in the butterfly leg, and he'll take out heat 8, 204.84. So similar time to Adam Selwood there. I think this will be a good race tonight, though, Sean.
I think so too. I think
Lots of people have a little bit left in the tank there.
definitely. I think Callum did just enough there to sneak through. I don't think he'll be in an inside lane
I
tonight,
think he
but
might be about 10th, to be honest. Hopefully he hasn't foxed too much. Wait for those results to come through. There's 4 faster in the final heat, so I don't think he'll be too far off. We're just having a bit of a look at the results. Meet Mobile, quick to get those results up and live and published. So 2:08 was the time that had to be done to make that final.
you know, interestingly, those two boys that went slower in that middle heat are sitting 8th and 10th. So it just goes to show that it doesn't matter what heat you're in. You gotta sometimes.
You've got to push it.
You gotta push it. All right, well, we head now into event 46, the women's 100-metre medley. We've got 11 heats of this event. I don't know about you, Carlia and Sam, but I love watching the 100-metre medley. It's short course specific, very interesting event.
Super technical for a race that's over so quickly. You know, for our women, we're looking just around that minute mark, just over. It's not a long race, time-wise, but a lot of elements and aspects really come into play. So obviously quickly getting off the blocks and a fast start in the butterfly, but every turn becomes so important. And you only get a few strokes of each leg, so you've really got to make the most of it and not spin the wheels either.
The wall there first was Emma Dyer Barnett. As we head into heat 2 of 11 here. Good start over there in lane 3 from Ali Yap. She's from Surrey Park. Good butterfly leg there from her. She'll touch about a second ahead of the rest of the field.
Yeah, we've got some young swimmers in here. Zihan Jin from Nunawading Swimming Club. She's in lane 2, only 12 years old. Got a 13-year-old, Taylor Miller from Melton, and Ramina Villegas from Western Melbourne Propulsion.
Over out in lane 0, Isabel Denert having a good breaststroke leg here, but challenging her just in lane 7 here. The 12-year-old having a really good breaststroke leg. Great turn there from Isabel, though, really put about half a body length on the rest of the field, so hopefully she can hold it coming into the finish here.
And Alia Wong then, lane 9, really coming down strongly in that freestyle.
It was Isabel Denert, 1:11.69, taking out heat 2. Now we have heat 3 of 11 of this 100-metre medley. Taking it out nicely is Yu-Zi Lu. She's from Surrey Park as well, so good butterfly legs for the Surrey Park girls in the last couple of heats, but really challenging her next to her. Karma Farmi from Nunawading, she's only 14 years of age, 13 years of age over in lane 0, Matilda Young. Great to see these young girls out here.
Yeah, well, they've got the old girls in commentary. So Yuxi there maintains the lead after the breaststroke leg, down into that freestyle. Girls giving everything they have left down this final leg of the 100 IM from heat 3, but it will be Yuxi 109.97. It's a nice little drop in personal best, and always really good. I love seeing those 0.97s and things. You're just getting under that second mark, and under 110 is always a nice feeling as well.
In the water now, heat 4. Good start from lane 8 here, Eloise Ravensdale.
She's a beautiful smooth underwater there.
She does.
We turn into the backstroke. And Celeste Alice came absolutely flying off that wall. She's more relaxed than the butterfly leg, but really utilising her strength here in the backstroke 25. It was a good wall too, so she'll turn in a 30.77. Eloise still out in lane 8, sitting in second. The girls come down for the breaststroke. Celeste holding on through the breaststroke. And she is absolutely smashing down this final 25. Look at the kick that she's brought in there.
What a great swim.
It's going to be a good personal best for her as well. So touching the wall there, 109.07. She'll take out heat 4. Something we haven't seen for a few heats. It's a full pool.
Yeah, we've had a couple of withdrawals this morning. Good to see that there's 10 swimmers filling each lane in this heat.
But Celeste Cheng, she's flown out. 13.68 for the butterfly leg. Jade King on the other side of the pool there. She's our outside lanes doing well early on. Now Celeste, great swim from her. She came through on that breaststroke even better. Just pulled away down the final 25, 108.72. Lucy Reed finishes in second. And then Jade King on the other side of the pool finishes in third.
Heat 6 in the water now. Again, all 10 lanes being filled. Great to see all these
Yeah,
girls.
the girls.
Yeah, the girls are the tough ones.
Exactly, 100%. non-biased commentary today.
Yeah.
Some different turn styles here for the back to breaststroke there. So a couple of buckets amongst the field.
Definitely loving to see those turns. They're tougher on the lungs, those turns, but by
They
far
are
the
hard.
fastest. So great to see all these swimmers choosing to do the tougher option, but the faster option. And having a ripper swim out there in lane 1. Waylon, we can hear her coaches next to us cheering her on.
I've heard her be referred to before as the Tronginator, and I think that was the terminology being used at Metro Championships just a couple of weekends ago. And she's going to take out this Heat 6, 108.93. I'm enjoying looking across the pool and seeing some smiling faces before this event. I think we see a lot more happy people before 100 IM than a few other races on our program.
It really is one of those events that's just a bit of a fun event. It's, as we said, it's short course specific. We don't swim this event long course, so
Potentially why we see a few more extra swimmers competing in this race. It's quick, it's fun, it's something different. You only get the opportunity sort of for half the year to actually compete in it. So when you come back around to it the following year, there's a good chance you're going to do a personal best, drop some time. It's also really nice for coaches, I think, to be able to watch their athletes swim in this race because it showcases those skills and really puts them on display under pressure.
having a good swim there in lane 4, Emily Lingard, but also out in lane 2, Charlotte Fay. She's had a really good turn there, and
Yeah, great breaststroke leg
was
from
a good breaststroke leg.
Lily Chan out in lane 9. She had a brilliant breaststroke as well, so it will come down to those two girls. Looks like Charlotte's going to have the better of the freestyle to get her hand on the wall first. 108.96. Lily Chan 109.51.
I know Charlotte's a good sprint freestyler, so that came into play in her last 25 there, getting her hand on the wall first.
All right, we're also almost up to the spicy end here. 3 seeded heats coming up next. But a couple of names in this heat that might be worth keeping an eye on time-wise. I spoke yesterday about Zara Jeffrey in lane 6, one of those youngsters just really starting to come through at this point in time. Improved a lot over the last 12 months. She's going to lead us through after the backstroke leg. She's also a great freestyler, so we can expect her to come home well. Bethany Forster over on the other side of the pool, turning in second. Here come those breaststrokers though, don't they, Sian? They always pick up the pace here, start to make a bit of a move.
They always just seem to come through.
So rude to those of us who don't do breaststroke. Bit of a battle between the girls from Melbourne Swimming Club here. Vera Zhang and Zara Jeffrey onto the wall. Oh, not even a battle, just they'll both take the win.
Just a dead heat.
It's a nice way to finish off. 107.97, some fast times and dead heat. Haven't seen a lot of those this weekend.
No, we saw one yesterday morning. Can't quite remember which event it was. It might have actually been the men's 100 medley, but don't usually tend to see it in these hundreds as much as the 50s.
So heat 9 in the water now. Rihanna Chen out fast. Gosh, she had a brilliant night of racing last night. Won the 50 fly. She led from start to finish. There was no one catching her at all. She really showcased those underwater skills. put them on display.
She's only 15 years old, so she's also one to watch. We've got a few really good 15-year-olds coming up through
It's a tight
our
age group to be
pathways.
in.
Yeah.
I think there's going to be some great racing at state age short course championships coming up in September. This is going to be a close one as well. Only about 5 100 separating those girls in the 3 middle lanes as we come into the freestyle leg. It's like Farida Taha might take out heat 9. Hand on the wall there. I don't think her touch bud went off. Sean, what do you think?
I don't think so either from our angle here. It's not the best of angles, but I was watching on our live stream in front of us, and I think that we'll wait for the official results for that one.
I think so too. But around that 105 high, 106 low time slot there, so that's where we're looking for our next 2 heats. They've kind of set the pace. Top 10 make finals tonight. Alicia Clark with the early lead in the butterfly, 12.9. And it looked really smooth too. That's a fast split.
And a beautiful backstroke underwater there. You can tell that she's been working on her skills in training. Works great for an event like this.
Well, she chose to just do a regular touch turn there. So it's a bit of a swivel turn. Madeline Harvey actually having a great swim from out in lane 9 as well. So we've seen a few fast racing and races from those outside lanes. Down to touch here, Alicia Clark, 105.69. Nicole Briscoe fought her way back into second there, 106.77. And then Madeline Horvath in third from the girls in heat 10, which brings us to our 11th and final heat of the morning for our women's 100-metre individual medley. We are missing our fastest qualifier. So that means that time from Alicia Clark is definitely going to be the standard these girls are chasing after now.
A really great start there from Mia Yao in lane 7 from Corford Aquatics. She's a great butterflyer.
I think this is going to really show how important those turns are off the wall there. Alana Banks actually popped out in front, so
Alana Banks, we saw her earlier in the 100 backstroke putting together a good swim. And the thing I love about this 100 IM is that it doesn't matter what stroke you do, everyone does it. We've got breaststrokers in here, butterflies, backstrokers, freestylers, everyone gives it a red hot go.
A great swim from Alicia Brownbell. She came through on that breaststroke leg, and she's actually going to take out our final heat in a time of 106.24. So quite a few girls on that 106 mark in the previous heat. Should make for an exciting race this evening. Let's get excited because the next race on our program is a splash and dash 50 freestyle, event 47. The men's 50 freestyle this morning, 9 heats.
Yes, be prepared to see a lot of splash.
Our slowest qualifiers, 25s, 25 seconds.
For those at home, that's not slow.
That's about how long I take to do 1 lap these days, and these guys are doing 2. Now, if you want to talk about fun races, I think 50 freestyle is definitely up there. It's dive in and go. Just go.
No thinking.
Throw and go.
Off you go.
Leading us around, Jake Riches of Geelong, 12-1 on the turn. Looks like he's going to get his hand on the wall first. 24.88. That's a great swim from him. Just 14 years old.
Yeah, we spoke about how 25 is our slowest entry time. Not that slow. He's just gone 24.
Having a look across the heats, and there's only one other 14-year-old boy entered in this event. So one other 14-year-old that's qualified under that 25-second mark. So it's a great effort there to go 24 as well. So we come into heat 2. This event's one of the ones we tend to see a few more of those draws, those people finishing on the exact same time, because it's such a tighter race. Not a lot of room for error within a 50. If you miss the start, if you miss the wall, it's pretty much game over. As Jeremy Batard takes out heat 2, 25.07. Quite as quick as heat 1.
Heat 3. Great start there from lane 4, Max Bosley. Seeing him a lot in the backstroke events.
I love the intensity he just put onto that wall as well. Tim and I spoke last night about how you can hear them hit the wall in these 50 and 100 metre races because the power they're generating and throwing onto that wall to get off.
24.18. Great swim there. Max, about a second off. But also, Callum Rosetto, we saw him in the 400 yesterday.
He's back again.
The 200, the 100 yesterday.
The man doesn't stop.
He's done all the freestyle events, and I tell you what, he has PB'd huge in all of them.
Great weekend for him. Oh, this is a tight field now. We watch that line across. Hunter Mace, 11.8, just ahead of Jack Sharp on the wall, and they both got off the wall really well, so came out of that turn well ahead of the rest of the field. But it will be Hunter who takes the win, 24.44.
The turn being such an important part in this race, you actually really have to use your underwater and go quite deep, because you've got to get under that huge wave of water that's coming. Being a 25-metre pool doing 2 laps, you're going to get caught in the wash if you don't get under it.
You can see it. It's that wall of water following our athletes. So when you come off that wall, yeah, absolutely, that turbulent splash zone at the top, you don't want to be anywhere near it. It's just going to slow you down and get stuck. So Sheng Hao Jin in lane 2 took us through in the lead, and I reckon he's hung on there. 24.56, but Alex Chang, so another draw here, 24.56 for him, finished off that second lap really well.
Yeah, we definitely see draws a little bit more regularly in the 50 freestyle. It comes down to those real 1%ers in this race.
Absolutely.
Including their reaction times. That is...
It can make a massive difference. Absolutely. If your reaction time is like Bart in lane 4.4 ahead of someone who's 0.6, you've already got 0.2 on them. Joel Bailey there, great turn and underwater. He's flying home on this second lap. Had a good country short course last weekend, and he's backed it up here. 23.43, so that's the first 23 we've seen this morning. Bart finishing in second there. And a great 50 fly as well today, so good to see him back it up with another sprinty race.
Getting that 0.2 on a reaction time, it requires no effort. So it's actually a really great way to try and get that 0.1, 0.2 on your other competitors.
An easy time to make up.
Well, we head into our last 3 heats here. Seeded These are our fastest entries, gunning for the top 10.
Akalunka, what a turn.
Beautiful turn there.
22. We're just basically skimming over the 23. See you later, 23. We're on to 22s now. We're well ahead of you. Good to see what Toby McComish in this heat can do. Swimming well this weekend. Always good to note when athletes are on a bit of form. Doesn't tend to just fall off randomly. It consists and sticks with them throughout the meet.
Lockie Jacket Simpson over there in lane 2 having a ripper start.
That was fast.
10.79.
Oh,
This is going to be quick.
this is going to be quick. Look at him off the wall there. Kieran Jasling also got out quickly, but 22.6, 22.64.
About half a second off his entry time, which as a 21-year-old who is already pretty fast, that's quite a large drop.
That is nice. Must be nice to look up and see as well. You know, it's a sport he's been involved in for a few years now. Got to work with Lockie on a team just prior to COVID, so around 2019, and to see people like that, you know, coming through our system, performance pathways, and then onwards into these open events and make that shift and still be improving at 21 is really exciting. As our 9th and final heat is underway now. James Ward in the middle, Haller and Laval in lane 5. They've been on a little bit of form as well this weekend, but James, those skills, moves off the wall quickly, and he looks like he's going to get the win here. 22.80. Cal in second there, 23.14. And then Nicholas Layton, again.
Actually.
Just throw in another 50 freestyle for him. Not quite as quick as he went earlier to break the world record for his classification of a 22.9. So we're going to mix it up a little bit now, moving away from our sprint race as we go into our event 48, the women's 200-metre breaststroke, the longest distance we race in our breaststroke events. Short course, 8 laps. We have 5 heats in the water now. Heat 1. Quite a different race strategy coming into a 200 breaststroke compared to a 50 freestyle. A lot more thought's going to go into this race and how you set it out. Wanting a lot more control. And breaststroke as well, the technique almost changes a little bit between our sprint breaststroke and our longer middle distance breaststroke too. So a few differences we'll notice across these next 5 heats.
It's also definitely such a hypoxic race. We talk about breaststroke having a split strokes rather than your butterfly kicks under the water, and the split stroke just takes that little bit longer to get your full split stroke, and 200 you got 7 turns, you got a split stroke off the start obviously as well, so it's just so hard on the lungs.
We talk about these 200 races and the impact that they have on our athletes, and quite often when we talk about the likes of the 200 backstroke, it's very taxing on the legs. Breaststroke definitely very taxing on the lungs, your butterfly taxing on the upper body. So each different race has those different elements and aspects, and that's the things that those swimmers are going to be working on more in training than perhaps someone who focuses on a different event.
And the thing I love about 200 breaststrokes is get to see the technique a little bit more, the gliding, and you might see some different techniques. Some people might try and stick to a bit of a higher stroke rate. Others will use a glide and have a really great pull through on their arms at the start of their stroke.
You can also, unfortunately, find the faults in your technique fairly easily towards a 200 breaststroke. If there's a breakdown in any part, you're going to notice it a lot more, and it's going to be really exemplified throughout this 200-meter race.
From lane 5, Miri Shirakawa. She's a visitor from Japan, only 13 years old, so she's travelled all the way to Australia to come and
It's a nice little holiday to come and race.
And she just dropped 5 seconds off her entry time.
So worthwhile.
Worthwhile the trip, I think.
Victoria always had such a great relationship with Japan, and the Japanese athletes coming across to our state events fairly often. We see them in long course age. The team from Itaman usually sends quite a large cohort across. We also see a lot of those athletes staying with families within the state to get the experience of not only coming over here to visit, but getting to live here for a little bit as well. So it's really nice for our swimmers to have those good relationships and develop those social skills with people from other countries, and it's so good to have our visitors racing across this weekend as well.
Yeah, definitely. As young athletes, and especially the age of 13, 14, 15, not only do we want to see these swimmers swimming fast, but we want to see them developing life skills, and there's no point doing something if you're not learning from it. And I think that it's such an integral part of being an athlete, being able to go and learn life skills from such a young age. I think it really matures our athletes really early on and sets them up really well for life after swimming, life within swimming, and it's really good to see. We're developing good humans.
100%. One of the things we often say is, you know, these kids, they're not just swimmers, they're not just athletes, but they are people, and they will always be humans and people, and that's really important to remember. We do have so many fantastic juniors, and they work so hard. It can be really easy to forget how young a lot of them are. I've had a few funny experiences in coaching where, you know, we see these kids all the time, and they're so well mannered, and, you know, they're dedicated and committed and have everything sorted, and then you take them out into the real world, and they're running around chasing animals or playing in mud and digging holes at the beach. So it is important that they do stay kids as well. One of the things I loved about watching the Olympics was the skateboarder Alyssa talking about how all she wanted when she got home was a duck.
Well, at the end of the day, these young athletes, they're growing. I mean, we've got a 12-year-old in here, Tess Izzard. She's only 12, so it's good to have that balance. And we talk about,
I hope they give her a cheeky Macca's at the end of the morning.
Talk about, you know, coaching and being all serious when you're in the pool, but there's such an element to enjoying yourself as well, and having that balance of, yep, this is serious when you get in the pool, but hey, guess what? We can still have fun. And coming down now, we've seen her a bit. Waylon, 2:47.90. Great swim from her. The outside lanes there having good swims, first, second, and third. Great to see the young 14, 15, and 12-year-olds out there cracking. Okay.
First of our circle seated heats.
Yes. We've got a visitor here from Albury, one of the 15-year-olds, Isabella Ray.
Producing a lot of great breaststrokers out of that Albury region.
Yeah, she's one of the duo that we see regularly. Same age group, race each other. Sienna Tui almost made the Olympic team, so only at 15
Wouldn't be
years of
surprised
age.
to see her across the next few years. And when we talk about those groupings of athletes and how people rise to the occasion if you've got that competition, I think this is a prime example of that.
And it's funny seeing someone from Albury as a visitor because it's not that far down the New highway, but not that far across the border. But obviously it is New South Wales, so due to this being
Great little
Victorian,
rivalry with those New
Great
South Wales
rivalry.
athletes.
Lily Kosh in lane 3. We've seen her this morning in the 100 backstroke, now in the 200 breaststroke. I'm loving seeing her back up time and time again in all the different strokes. That she's not only is she sprinting, but she's also doing the distance. She's also 15, so one of her direct age group competitors there next to her. These girls race each other at national age championships. Good opportunity for them to race each other and learn their different race strategies.
And they're really having to race each other because look at the distance these two girls have on the rest of the field. Mia Mitchell turning in third there, but they've got a 7-second gap between themselves and the other girls here. So just 50 metres left to swim for Isabel and Lily.
They've got slightly different techniques here. Lily sitting a little bit lower in the water with coming when she comes out of the water, sort of dipping that head a little bit, whereas we've got Isabel sort of coming a bit higher out of the water and keeping her head a little bit more still. Clearly working for both of them.
Yeah, I don't think you could
really
say
fault either of them, to be honest.
It's so personal with breaststroke. It comes down to your body makeup and composition, where your strengths lie,
how long your limbs are.
Yep, big one.
All of it. And we know that Lily's limbs are long. Great times there from those girls this morning at 2:30.34 and 2:32.36. Mia Mitchell having a good swim there as well. She's only 13 years old. So we've got some real young girls in that race. Hopefully see them tonight in the final.
They've definitely done everything they can this morning to try and secure a spot in the top 10. We do have some more big name athletes to come in this event. So in this heat, we've got Riddell Smith, also Tara Kinder coming up in heat 5. She's having a great meet, so
the
certainly
beauty
keep
is,
an eye on her.
Certainly. The beauty is these girls, if they progress through to the final, they are racing our more seasoned swimmers who have been around for a long time. You know, Tara stepped away for a little bit there and she's come back stronger and better than ever. So her ability to race the young generation, and they learn off her and Riddell, and it's just, this is what Open Swim is all about.
For sure, I actually have so much respect for Tara in that return to the pool. It can be a bit of a daunting thing if you've had a bit of a break to actually try and make a comeback. And not only has she made a comeback, but is swimming better than ever, really on the top of her game, and doing a few different events as well now, which is great to see. Sometimes a break's as good as a holiday, you know, you need a bit of a change.
Definitely, you can, and we've just spoken about life skills and being a person, and I'm more than sure that Tara was able to step away, develop as a human, and find herself outside, and then go, you know what, I'm not quite done. And again, it definitely takes some guts to do it, and I take my hat off to her.
So Riddell setting the pace here, 1:13.99, 100 metre mark. Going round behind her was Farida Taha. She's turned into 1:15. So those girls probably a little bit slower than the heat previously.
metres to swim now at Riddell. Looking really relaxed. Rita next to her having a good swim as well.
Riddell had a really nice underwater off that turn, I thought. Just stayed under a little bit longer. If you can be really efficient on those split strokes, you can actually conserve a bit of energy. So yes, it's harder on the lungs, but you're also giving your body a bit of a rest. Just picked it up a little bit on that lap. Driving onto the wall, nice timing on the finish there, 2:33.91. Farida 2:35.92. And Amelia Otto will finish in third, 2:41.51. Heat 5, fifth and final heat of the women's 200-metre breaststroke this morning. Fastest qualifier, Tara Kinder, swimming out of lane 4. Alana Torrance alongside her, but we're just 50 metres into this race and already Tara having a little bit of a commanding lead here.
I love watching Tara's breaststroke. It's so long. She has a really beautiful glide. But what I love about it is the first part of her stroke, when she pulls through, you can actually see her pull herself with a lot of water through the water. And I just think it's a beautiful stroke.
I think that's something that's really noticeable across the 200 breaststroke. If we look at our top level elite breaststrokers, I think someone that kind of comes to mind here is like Zach Stubbleton-Cook. And we see him come through in the second half because he just maintains that length of stroke the whole time. And that's the beautiful thing about breaststroke. It can be such an efficient and smooth, technical stroke.
Yeah, you can see that at no point Tara pauses in the water. She's constantly moving through, which indicates the timing of her stroke is
perfect.
Yeah, I didn't want to say perfect in case her coach is standing there going, it's not perfect.
Yeah, I think CJ might have words on that one.
Yes, we're always striving to be better in some aspect of our stroke, but yes, I just think it's a nice one to watch.
It certainly is. It looks easy. We always mention, the easier it looks if you're in the lead, you're doing something right.
Yeah, we say that you might be watching at home and it might look easy, but I can tell you now, it's definitely not.
Doesn't feel that way. Picked up the pace going into that wall, into our final turn here. So keeping in mind the time set by Isabel Ray at 2:30 mark. It's going to be well under that. She comes down in a 2:27.06.
Also a great swim there from Alana Torrance, 2:33 at 3:1. Those girls we'll see tonight. I think it'll be a good race between Tara, Lily and our Aubrey visitor.
I think the good thing will be Tara will drag those girls out with her, and I hope that they really try and challenge her. It's always nice to have a bit of competition. Her entry time is a little bit quicker than a few of the other girls in this event, so you can see a couple of them just lift a bit, close that gap. Could have a really good race in our hands.
There was always something really satisfying about being the young one beating one of the older athletes.
Absolutely, absolutely.
It's a real confidence booster for our younger athletes.
And an ego booster.
Yeah. Sometimes you need a couple of ego boosts.
I think that's athletes. Always competitive. Always winning some form of competition. If it's not the actual race, it's a race within the race.
And I tell you what, that never leaves you. That competitiveness, no matter who you are, if you've been an athlete, that never really leaves. It goes into your everyday life.
When you're playing Wii tennis. And
Yeah. Or just, you know,
leaving the traffic light. So moving along here, we come to event 50, the women's 200-metre individual medley for multi-class. So one heat of women in this race. Sarah Howe is your leader early on. Anything can happen in a 200 IM. We've had a couple of them already this morning. I do have a couple of different classifications within this race. So Evie Lee, Grace Ryder, both medley classification SM19, Maddie Fox SM18, Sarah Howe SM10, and Kira Warwick is SM6. So a little bit of a difference between our medley classifications and our other races. You'll notice it becomes SM for the medley. And so in these races, sometimes your classification might be different to the classification that you actually have for freestyle or butterfly events.
That's right. You get Ahmed Kelly. They sometimes do the 150 IM, don't they, instead of the 200 IM in their classification. If I'm right about that, Anna. I think I have watched that when they've been.
Yeah, so the classification number can change in breaststroke races, so they'll have a different classification for breaststroke as to freestyle, depending on what their impairment is. But we also do have some different events in our multi-class for medley as well, so we can have the 75-metre IM on top of the 100 IM, and we can also have the 150 IM on top of the 200 IM.
And again, you've got that, you know, some strokes are better for some swimmers than others. So we've got here in lane 4, Grace Ryder catching up to Sarah Howe on this breaststroke leg.
All the girls this morning trying to put together a great heat swim. They will have the opportunity to come through and race this race again this afternoon in the finals, unless of course you would get disqualified this morning. So fingers crossed that no one does that.
Absolutely.
And they will all get the chance to come back and try and improve on their time and their swim this morning. Evie absolutely flying home in this freestyle leg though. She closed that gap massively. She was about 3 seconds behind leading into this lap. But it will be Grace Ryder who holds on and takes the win in the heat. First fastest time. Keep an eye on those times though compared to the classifications, because we do bring it down to a point system in conjunction with the world record for each classification.
Yeah, Maddie Fox turning for the final 50 there. Good strong leg kick. She was like that last night in that, I think the 100 IM on TV. You could see her really push on. Kira Warwick doing very well. Her entry times are 3:56.59. I think she's going to smash
I believe
that.
Kira still holds a couple of the Australian records for her age.
Yeah, she does.
As an age group athlete for the SM6 category or S6 category classification.
Yeah, Julie Jantz, she'll be really happy with that.
Nice drop of 6 seconds for her.
And for Maddie Fox too. That's a 6-second PB for her. 5 seconds. So
The girls are on this morning.
They
We have
certainly
mentioned that. Come on, boys. It's time to pick up the pace. Don't leave it all up to Nick Layton to do all the work.
yeah, that's right. Yeah, Nick's just pumping out those world records, isn't he?
Makes it seem like it's an everyday occurrence. Just
Yeah,
you know,
no.
turn up, have a swim, break a world record.
Yeah, it isn't. He certainly trains hard, and I think he was a bit frustrated at some points because, you know, he felt like he wasn't moving forward, and then suddenly, you know, it just happens.
It can be super difficult in those sprint races as well, where every millisecond counts. It is a lot harder to do bigger drops in time. So this is now event 51, the men's 200 metre individual medley from multi-class. We also have just the one heat in this event this morning. Fastest seed time there in lane 4, Riley Blitz. Another swimmer who had a massive day yesterday.
Yeah.
Got Hamish Keenan in lane 5. He's had a fantastic season. Paralympic trials, made a couple of finals, which is fabulous for someone just 15 years of age to be competitive with those open age groupers.
And they are talent targeted, you know, so they'll be getting some specialist advice from the Paralympic coaches and their coaches as well. James, the coach at the Oasis Otters, very experienced coach there, coaching Kelvin Tran.
Kelvin Tran's just been going strength to strength. I see him pop up all the time, always in the mix with those medalists and coming up and performing at the big meets.
And he also trains on his own. Like when I was at Tiger Sharks, he would be at the Casey pool just going in and doing extra himself. So how good, how self-motivated.
The boys here coming down the final leg of breaststroke.
Both looking very good, aren't they?
It's been a good breaststroke leg from Hamish, I thought there. He turns just 3 seconds behind Riley into the freestyle.
Yes, you can see why he has been talent scouted, can't you?
Super focused
He's really
as
gone well. Bradley Doolan now 30, just coming into that final turn for the freestyle. Bradley, a student of the sport, during lockdown, what he, you know, didn't know about the sport of swimming, you wouldn't want to know. He knows a lot about the sport. Some great times there. Hamish Keenan taking a couple of seconds off his PB. So we're going straight into the 50 back, so the 800 must be a straight final tonight. This really is a splash and dash. I really don't like to say it about 50 metre events because you still have to be technically good. So I don't particularly like the phrase splash and dash, but with the arms and the stroke weight and how fast your arms have to clear over the top of the water, it does look like there's a lot of splash going on. So if you ever see the World Championships 50 backstroke, if it's on pool deck, you can just see this like white water of splash going on. But that, you know, that means if you've got a really good hold and catch on the water, and also can be fast. Let's have a swim 50. Ryan Trash, Zachary Gordon and Oliver Nemstus. Oliver taking that out. Oliver from Camberwell Grammar. Heat 2. Named 13 years of age. Great clearance from all of those. Using that back. There's no room for error on that start on the 50 or the turn. Got to be spot on, be able to count your strokes. Sometimes you're going so fast that count your strokes from the flags, you probably need to count them for the whole first 25 and back. That's fantastic for lane 4, Bart Horovitz. Bart's from the Melbourne Swimming Club, 15 years of age. Second, Jude. The Silver Smith, Warrnambool. A few of these swimmers already this morning. Zayden Bertman, Colin Traralgon and Colin Rosetto on D5. Alexander Stone, the fastest in this heat. MLC.
We've seen Colin Rosetto in all the freestyles so far in this meet. 50, 100, 200, 400. He's just been killing it, so we'll see how his 50 backstroke goes.
Yeah.
He's definitely not afraid to give it a crack, is he? He's like backed up his races, and I reckon, you know, if you're swimming well, you're swimming well.
You got the confidence.
Yeah. And you can just get back in and think, well, I'm swimming well, I'll give this one a good go, and he is.
It's going to be a tight finish here coming through. Alexander Stone.
Could be anyone's. Lane 0 or lane 1 up there. Liam Paulson. Well done, Liam. He's Camberwell Grammar Credit, only 13 years of age. Look at his smile. He's absolutely made up with that.
Oh, he's very happy with that swim.
That's so great to see, isn't it, you know? That's what it's all about.
Big thumbs up to his coach.
Yeah.
Good to see. Now, Sam, I always find it really interesting when we're doing 50 metres sprints and we're diving over the top of the swimmers. Swimmers in lane 4, they've really got to leg it to get out of that pool before the other swimmers are coming back.
Well, last night, watching the TV, I think it was in the relays or something, they were so quickly that people were hardly out of that far end. Were they? It was just like madness. I'm thinking, oh my God, hurry up, you know.
Lane 4, they're taking it out. Luca Brown, 27.47. What a great swim from him.
Yeah, he's only 14 and he does swim very maturely. Some great times this morning. They've only got 29s on paper, but they've all gone pretty much under that. Now another good backstroker from MLC, James Lewina.
Yeah, we saw a few of these boys earlier in the 200-metre backstroke. Cracking 50-metre backstroke. James Lewina, Campbell Wilson Moran.
Yeah, Campbell's not swimming, I don't think. In this. Oh, he is, but it's Xavier Purcell's not doing the 50.
James had a lovely start there in lane 4. Good underwater from him.
Beautiful.
See how he goes off this turn. Underwater is such a crucial part of this race. I reckon this is the underwater
it is.
race.
Yeah, it is. That's why the American men, you know.
25.57, what a ripper swim from James. 26.01 from Campbell there.
Yeah.
These boys will fight it out in the final tonight if they progress through.
Well, we've got a facial hair in this next heat. We've got Callum Halloran-Lavelle with a moustache and Alexander Hillman from St Victoria Park with a full beard. Good job the facial hair's out of the water, less drag.
Lachlan Jacket Simpson in lane 7. He had a really great 50 freestyle earlier, so to see these boys, good crack.
That is such a great start from Lucky Jacket Simpson. And Callum, he's really been working his underwater work. So we've got Callum Halloran-Lavelle and Sebastian Christie Crane.
Lachlan Jacket Simpson.
I know, seriously, are they just doing it to trip us up? Seriously, my lips have got a bit numb trying to do that. Oh, wow. Just trying to fit that in. We couldn't even do the names in the 50, could we? It went that quick.
Good swims from those boys. They'll progress through to the final tonight, hopefully.
Now, big Anthony Basunas isn't here. He's a junior international for us. He's been to the junior Pan Packs. But Akalanka, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think I did see him in Paris, but I don't know. I've seen him somewhere, I think at the Worlds maybe.
Maybe, yes.
Fantastic. You can see sometimes they're not clearing that high, but that's a better angle of attack. Akalanka there, he didn't come up high, but it was like a dart, straight across and in, wasn't he?
Beautiful underwaters there from Akalanka. You can really see that that's what's getting him there, but coming really quickly next to him, Henry Allen, Akalanka 24.90, 25.11 there, quick times there.
And he's only 16, Henry Allen, and you know he does look.
He looks good.
He does. He looks taller than he. You know what I mean? If backstrokers look tall in the water, sometimes they're not, and it's just the fact that they've got such good technique, and you can tell a really good backstroke swimmer if they look tall. You know. So we've got the 50 back multi-class now. They're putting them through the paces today. It's like, you know, 100 IM, 200 IM, 50 back. Boy, oh boy. Well, you can't get a better quality training than you can at a swim meet. So backing it up like this just makes you tougher, doesn't it? Wow, lane 3 there. Kelvin Tran. What a great over the water he got, and lane 4.
It's really great to see that we've got 9 swimmers here in our multi-class 50 backstroke. It's just testament to the depth of multi-class swimmers that we've got in Victoria. We know that on an international stage they race in their classifications, but in our state and national competitions they race as multi-class. So it's not necessarily who touches the wall first, it's whoever's closest to their world record, higher the points.
Well, we did have the world short course here, which included the para world short course, and when you think about it, you know, they obviously thought what a great place Melbourne is to come. It is. It's a fantastic facility, MSAC.
It's great. There's so much room for warm-up and cool-down. There's a lot of space.
Yeah.
It's a really great facility to hold these big competitions. Just maybe in the warmer months when we can swim outside. It's not too cold.
That's right. That's right. That's true. I don't mind the cold, though, because I'm British. So this isn't cold, really. But, you know, just to be able to swim outside, and it's covered over, but see that sunshine and, you know, it's really good for your mental health, I think. It's
definitely. I'm actually looking out the window today. It's a beautiful day outside and can't wait to get out of the indoor pool here and get some sunshine.
oh, blanket start there.
It's a really beautiful stroke in lane 4 there from Anna Layton. Really smooth, just keeping her head really still, rotating nicely.
Yes, they all are. Actually, that's a bit of a masterclass. All the girls there have really great still head positions, nice and back. Lovely. Yeah, taken out there by Anna Layton. Second, Sarah Howe. Third, Evie Lee. Bearing in mind they've just done a 200 IM.
They have. Those girls are backing up one after the next.
51.50 there, free. I know Kira Warwick had a backstroke Australian record. So just off her PB there, she could be on for that tonight. So here's one of the toughest events on the programme, the women's 400 IM.
Yes, definitely takes some guts to swim this, and got.
So I'm looking at these Vic Open times. They must be the times from the World Short Course that are the records. The Vic Open times in December 2022.
Yes, they must be.
Yeah. They're going to be hard to break, aren't they? It's like world champion, something to aim for.
Yeah, 4:26.51 is that.
Yeah, I was just looking at it. I thought,
it's
that's
quite
not
fast.
freestyle, is it? Whoa.
Well, the 400 IM got 4 laps of each stroke. Really interesting race. Different tactics, different race strategies.
It definitely is. I mean, you know, it's not one size fits all. You know, it's, as I said yesterday, it's like the decathlon, you know. So sometimes do you play to your strengths if you are strong at the 100 fly, or do you think I'll just go out steady and save it for maybe my weaker events, you know?
Definitely, and then you see in backstroke, a lot of the time in 100 and 200 backstroke, your legs are really dominant. They're keeping you afloat. But in a 400 IM, we know that breaststroke's after backstroke, and that is such a leg dominant stroke. You've got to save them just that little bit and not overexert yourself with your legs so that you have something in the end. And then freestyle, not much other than giving it your all.
That's right. when you're in a whole heap of pain, just keep on pushing through.
And I always think that in an individual medley, the freestyle is such a different pain because you've done all the other strokes beforehand compared to if you're just doing a freestyle stroke.
Oh, yes. It feels a bit uncoordinated. When you turn from that breast onto freestyle, you actually do feel like your freestyle is off.
Yeah.
And it takes you probably a good 15 metres to kind of get back into that freestyle timing.
Yeah, and it's why it's such an interesting race, and you got to train the different strokes and the switching of strokes because it is switching different muscles. You use your different muscles in each stroke, and trying to switch it does just feel a bit awkward for a little bit. It does.
Well, your nervous system, your motor skills, that's all your nervous system and your brain. Well, it's really quite difficult for your brain to switch into. It's like, going from driving and then, reverse parking,
yep.
and then going in to do a 3-point turn. You know what it's like sitting your test in your test in a test situation.
Think about all the different things.
Hook turn, especially down here. And it is. And when you're tired as well, and it's a competition pressure situation, things can go wrong. I mean, look at the Olympics then, the 200 IM with the crossover turn. Those girls would never have gotten that wrong. But because of the pressure of the situation, you can just default to a bad mistake,
Definitely, and I think 400 IM in a short course pool, there's a lot more turns to deal with, so it just adds another technical aspect to the whole race. So
that's right.
Not only are you in there trying your best and going through probably a lot of pain.
Yeah, that's true.
You got to think about the technique that comes with it as well, as these girls are turned with 150 metres to go, or 50 metres of the breaststroke left.
And that's another thing, because you can breathe every stroke on, and you've got as much time to breathe on backstroke. Sometimes people can over breathe and get that, like when you're running, get that burning feeling in your throats. So even though you can do that, you have to really try and control, not breathing in too much.
Kira Carlon having a really good race here. These girls,
looks fabulous.
Our fastest heat will be swum tonight as a time final. Doesn't mean these girls aren't in medal contention. They can still get up and win a medal from the morning, but racing just the one race.
Well, Ikua there, she's really coming through at the end of this. She looks very light in the water, doesn't she?
Yeah, and the girls probably gunning to try and get under that sort of 5:10 mark. I know that it's a bit of a milestone getting under that 5 minutes for a 400 IM, so we'll see how close these girls can go.
Well, Kira Carlin, I do like to see that when her freestyle, you can see only one goggle coming out of the water, so she's not wasting any time breathing right round. And even though you need that air, she's really swimming technically very well at the end of this 400 IM.
Well, we've only got 15 metres left to swim of this long 400 IM race. Kira Carlon doing a great job here. Hopefully she can get under her entry time of 5:18.44, and she does. 5:16, 5:1, a couple of seconds there. Our visitor, Ikua, her time didn't quite come up on the board there, so her time will come from our Hawkeye technology, and then 5:23.62 from Zoe Jennings, 5:29.14 there from Amanda.
Yeah, I was just talking to Heather, the chief official this morning, and she was saying they're just using Hawkeye for times. There's no looking at people's strokes or turns underneath, really. That's all done by eye, but tonight it'll be a different story. They'll be doing both. I thought that... Here we go for the men's 200 fly. They're bringing out the big events this morning, I've got to say. Well, lane 3, Yash Pataki, he's turns. He looks very confident in this 200 fly. If you go out like that, you definitely have confidence that you're going to do a personal best time. So he's really backing himself there. And I like to see that there's no way that you should really be holding back in a 200 fly, because you only kind of get slower, and sometimes your stroke technique, if you try and alter it to swim slower, it actually isn't as efficient. So Yash going out there very well. Second, Riley Hodgkins from DVE, and lane 7, Oscar Campbell, Cheltenham. Milestone is the 2:10 barrier. We're looking for them to turn in about a 1:33. 1:35 to get under that time. So we're going 1:36. I'm thinking, yeah, about 2:09 perhaps. A little bit quicker. Yash's time's 2:09 as PB. See if we can crank this stroke rate up down this last 25. But I've got to say, Riley Hodgkins has really come through in that second 100. 2:10 and 2:11.27. Very nice Harry McGraw there. We've seen a lot of him. Only 13. He's got a 2:12. So that's an 8-second PB for him. Well done, young man. Shout out to Zachary Gordon as well. He's only 17. Doing a 200 fly, no main feet. Alright, we have heat 2 of 3. Now you'd think in this kind of event that there would be, you know, like in the 400 free or anything like that, the fastest heat is tonight or the 800, but no. You have to repeat the 200 fly, and at international level, when it's heats, semis and finals, they've got to do 3, so you have to be fit just to get through the rounds, so that by the time you get to the final, you've got plenty of energy left to execute your best race in the final. So this is a good training ground for these boys, backing up one event after another. Now it's neck and neck here, lane 6. Adam Effney from Surrey Park. And a great turn from lane 4. Dominic Sue. Be able to see each other. As you can see there, Adam Effney, you can just see him turn his head a little bit, so just to see where Dominic was. It's always nice to have a race in the heats as well. Kind of blows out the cobwebs. And it's like, well, I'm going to be tough this morning, so can you come with me for the final? Because already Dominic has committed. They're both committed to swimming fast, so, you know, once you've committed, there's no going back. Because it's like, well, if you don't tough it out, then the other person does. You don't want them to beat you really and get the mental advantage. So very close down this last 25. Oh, excellent turn from Dominic. But you know, that's the only thing. Then Adam will know about that for the final tonight. 2:05.63 for Dominic, 2:07 Adam Effley, and 2:10 Owen Williams Polly. From Wadding. He was sandwiched between those boys in 5. Final heat. I should think 10 or over that would probably make the final.
I don't know about you, Sam, but if I was doing a 200 freestyle, a 200 backstroke, and then I had to hop in half an hour later and do a 200-meter butterfly, I think I'd be a pretty tough person.
Yeah.
Hey,
I think you've got to say Harvey, right?
That's impressive.
It really is. He's a tough cookie.
It's great to see, like, a lot of these older athletes that are heading towards trying to qualify for short course nationals over in Adelaide later in September in about a month's time.
Yes.
It's good to see them coming in here and just toughing it out and doing multiple events.
Absolutely.
They wouldn't be rested for this competition, and it's a bit of a practice for them, training, racing under a lot of training load. So
it is, and there's quite a bit of needle. I mean, between these two, you've got Tyler Theodore and Harvey. There will be a little bit of, needle, because I know they do that in training, and it's so funny. But I've got to say, you've got to, out in lane 2 there, we've got John Jurovic from D5.
D5 really producing.
I know, aren't they? Doing well.
Yeah.
Well, that's really good from the 3 boys there.
Harvey just stepping up a little bit there in that sort of third 50. Hopefully he can hold on in this last 50. He's obviously had a big morning so far.
Well, I don't know about you, but I think John might take this out. He's got a very unorthodox stroke, but 200 fly, because it's an endurance event, a bit like, running the marathon. They're not running like 100-meter technique, So sometimes little idiosyncrasies, but it's efficient for them.
Yeah.
Will win the day, and I'm telling you, he looks like he can keep going for a 400 fly.
He looks
John, hats off to you. Good lads.
209.02, 210.05, 210.97. I'll be interested to see if Harvey swims all 3 of those 200s tonight.
Yeah, Harvey's been a 2:02, I think, or 2:03 before, so I think he will, because it'll be at the end. Why not give it a go?
Why not do all 3 again?
Get Kendrick on the blower, on the phone. So here we go, 50 breast.
7 heats of this morning. Top 10 progress through to the final tonight. Bit of a splash and dash for the breaststrokers.
Yes.
We've seen them do the 200 already this morning. Had the women's 200 breaststroke this morning, and now we head to the 50.
And talking idiosyncrasies, in breaststroke, no one stroke technique above the water really looks the same, And that's what I like about it, because everyone can look so different. It's, as long as they're efficient and they're doing the right thing underwater and they're doing the things that reduce drag, Lily Chan is having a blinder here.
Yeah, her stroke rate's really high here, sitting nice and high in the water. She's going to come through and touch first on the wall there, 35.55.
2 seconds.
Great swim from her.
Absolutely. Charlotte Anderson as well.
We're seeing a few of these young swimmers dropping some time here this morning in the first couple of heats. Only 14 years old there, Lily. quarter. Really good start over here in lane 9 from Lucy Reed.
Yeah, and in lane 1, it's like the outside Abby Harrington have just decided to, you know, get out there at the outside and have a U-shaped.
Yeah, Abby really pulling through here. She had a great start and then she had a really good turn. The skills being such an integral part of the 50 breaststroke. 34.73, what a great swim. Her coach is next to us.
Yeah, giving a big cheer there. Middle 2 lanes, both from Nunawading Swimming Club. Tani Cronin from Dromana Secondary College, down on the peninsula. Excellent turns from the girls there, but really looking good on the outside. We've got lane 8, Amity Lansbury, DVE, and lane 3, Wei Yi Lu from Western Propulsion. I was talking about different strokes, but I'm going to say Amity Lansbury swims very much like Tara Kinder. And Tara did come from DVE originally. Seems like all the girls are giving it a go. Oh, we've got, you know, we've got Zahara Oleonwi. She's someone? Lane 3. No, she isn't.
Really good start there from Isabel Nash. She came out about a body length ahead of the rest of the field, so really capitalising on her underwater there. But over in lane 1, Ruby Kenda also having a really good turn there. So again, just a showcase of skills and how important they are to get to win races in a short course pool. 35.29 from Isabel Nash, 35.80 from Ruby Kenda.
There's some great swimming there this morning. All right, now we're getting to the more seeded heats. We've got Bridel Smith, sister of Michaela, and Olympic medalist Brendan. Big shout to Sarah Povley, she's in year 11. Doing a lot of hard subjects, maths methods.
Madeline Horvath there, we saw her early in the 200 breaststroke having a great swim. So
good.
She looks really good, really powerful, backing it up there. 33.25, that's a pretty swim from her.
Yes, it is. Bridge here, so it's changed from the Surrey Park Swimming Club to Nunawading. Breaststroke swimmer decided to have a change. 12-year-old Tess Izzard, Yarra Plenty Waves here in lane 9. Lane 4, turning well, the experienced 26-year-old.
Coming through really strongly next to her though, lane 5, Stephanie O'Donnell.
She is.
Be who can get the full stroke on the wall.
10th of a second, isn't it?
32.82 and 32.92 our top 2 times there. You see both of those swimmers in the final tonight.
Right, with the sharp end now, Isabel Ray, teammate of Sienna Tui, who's on the junior Pan-Pac team, just missed that Olympic team, both 15-year-olds, to go 107 at Olympic trials to get second. Unreal.
Yeah, definitely. We saw Isabel earlier in the 200 breaststroke. It was her and Lily Kosh, both 15-year-olds.
Yeah.
We were saying before, so many good 15-year-olds coming through our pathways, both here in Swimming Victoria and Swimming New South Wales, and it's good to get the girls here competing against each other. So that once they get on the national stage, they're having a really, really beautiful 50 though. Here's Isabel Ray, 31.78. That'll be our fastest time this morning so far. Second, 33.97 from Farida Taha, also just earlier in the 200 breaststroke. But now we head on to 100-metre freestyle women's.
Emma McKeon holds this record, 50.77. I don't think I can walk that fast up and down. I don't think I could. Do you think you could do 100 backwards and forwards in 50 seconds? I don't know if I could.
I don't think I could run it.
No, it would have to be in a run, wouldn't it? Jeez.
Got 7 heats of this morning. A couple of 12-year-olds. Four laps. Sprint, splash and dash. Obviously, as an Australian country, we have such a depth of swimmers here in the 100-metre freestyle.
Oh, the Australian crawl.
Yeah,
that's what it is.
4x100-metre freestyle women winning 4 Olympics in a row. What a phenomenal. Turning first there, Holly Hume. Nice to see her turning on the wall under 30 seconds, 29.86.
Yeah, if you want to get under that elusive 60 seconds, you've got to be out under 30.
She's only 14 years old and she's putting together such a good swim here. Her freestyle's really nice. She's sitting really high in the water.
Yeah, she is. Very, very smooth, isn't it?
Challenging her over in lane 1 though, Katie Young. See who gets her hand on the wall first. It is Holly Hume, 101.47.
Getting closer and closer to that, getting under the minute. That's all you can do, chip away. Maddie Horvath back on the 103 after the 50 breast. Straight back in.
She's barely had a second to take a breath, let alone recover from her 50.
That's right. And look, she comes up first. Well done, man. Lovely dive. Maybe rest's overestimated.
Maybe.
Not in my household. But, you know.
Well, maybe when you're... I mean, she's 18. She's not 12. So...
Oh, she's swimming down now. Look at her. She's obviously decided to go out fast for the first 25 and then just use it as a swim down. But that looks great, like lane 8, Perrier Franco there. And lane 7, Ella Bass, Sienna Sandrelini. They're all together with, I think, just ahead, Bethany Forster. Bethany to swimland. Oh, there we go, lane 1, Claire Matheson from Ballarat Gold.
Madeline just taking her time. Doing some backstroke.
Well, it is freestyle. You can actually do anything you like without getting disqualified.
You can.
Girls. Great, 25, 13 point. Now let's see, that's what you need. 13, then probably 15, get you out in 28, so you can get back over the 30 and still get a 59 point. So these girls are going trying to get into the minute because they're all on 60 or 61. going to try and reduce the amount that you breathe. At the moment, Ariane Titmus breathes 4s on a 400. So 4s and 2s, things like that, generating power. See if lane 1 can get under that elusive 60. Yes, 59.58. Jemana Farmi.
She's only 12 years old.
Is she 12?
She's just
oh, so she is.
Minute for a 12-year-old is just phenomenal.
Look at that. She hasn't got any, you know what I mean? No barriers. Just get in there, go for it.
Heat 4 of 7 in the water now.
Again, all but one under. Isabel Ray's back in again from the breaststroke. Got a lovely smooth freestyle. Looks like lane 7 though, Madison Cooper. Melbourne Swimming Club.
Over in lane 0 though, Joanne Liu. She's having a really good third 25 here. Hopefully we can see her try and get under the minute as well.
Great turn there from Stephanie Moran. She's really powering home. And she's going to get over 59, 60. Whee, there we go. So that's two girls under that 60.
Well, I think we'll see plenty go under 60 in the next 3 heats because these are our 3 seeded fastest heats here, our top 30 swimmers. So lane 4, she's ranked 3rd, 56. So look to see some really quick times here from these girls.
Yeah, Charlotte Fair really going for it there. Charlotte works for Funkita and Funky Trunks. Trunks at Caulfield. They're one of our major sponsors here at Swimming Victoria.
Great turn there from Alicia Clark. Just
lovely.
putting half a body length on that field.
Kira Jeff's only 13.
I'm really loving seeing these girls not breathing in and out of the walls, really using the walls to gain speed, leading Alicia Clark. Kira Jeff's only 13 years of age, and then next to her, Charlotte Faye. Having a good little battle there from those two.
Coming up for Surrey Park, Farina Tahar there as well. Yeah, there we go, 58 points. So it went Alicia Clark, Laura Wadding, Kira Jeff, Sharon Plenty. Heat 6. So we've got Sarah Orionwe and Abby Kearney in the middle 2 lanes for Laura Wadding. But Alia Wong's going out there like an absolute storm.
Lillian Jones out in lane 2. I must say has a really beautiful stroke. It's so smooth.
She does, doesn't she? She's only 15.
Samra having a really great swim here, just putting on the afterburners in this last 50 metres. She'll look to get her hand on the ball first. Challenging her next to though, Abby Kearney. See her regularly backstroke events.
Nice.
57.14, 58.00.
All right, in the last heat now. Arabella Tomlinson had a great 200 freestyle last night, 202. And same for Sienna Shepherd in the backstroke. We don't have Isabella Boyd.
Yeah, Sienna's really good with her underwater, is really strong there. Arabella is really on form at the moment. She's definitely looking a lot stronger. Made that move over to Caulfield Aquatics not long ago, and she's really starting to progress and looking strong in these freestyle events.
Yeah, she is. Both the girls from Caulfield looking very strong. And then we've got Manama Foos coming with third from Melton. There we go, 57.02, 57.65 and a 58.8. Nice.
Great swimming from those girls. So looking forward to seeing them in the final tonight. Well, we head into event 60, the men's 100-metre breaststroke. We've got 8 heats of this so far, with some big names, regular names that we see in our breaststroke. Adam Selwood trying to breaststroke last night. Callum Ravel we've seen regularly over the last few days.
Have we got Lockie Jacket Simpson in this and the other? What's it? Have we?
No, we've just got,
They
we've just
spread
got one
out.
of those names. Well, we've also got Felix Dressel de Bruin. So.
Oh, have we? Oh, just slipping another one in.
Having a really good swim here in lane 5. William Lewis. Swimming very aggressively fast. Nice to see.
Yeah, I like that really fast recovery. You know, there's no slippage, is there? He's getting hold of that water at the front. Lovely, 111.01. Tanar Geisler. One of Uni Geisler is a great swimmer. Another wadding. So the fastest in this heat is Lizin Yang from Runaway. And we have the birthday boy, the weekend birthday boy, Roy Jones, 15, lane 2. Only one weekend. Only one birthday over this weekend. Shem Al-Yusuf, he's from Frankston High School, from D5. His father, I just found out, is actually a gymnastics coach and coached some of the team that medalled at the Paris Olympics. What the hell's good's that?
I really love your random fun facts, Sam. There.
Well, I was getting around having a chat, and do you know, I remember the weirdest things. But yeah, because you see, Brock Batty, he went to the Olympics in trampolining for Frankston High School. But yeah, I just learned that Shem's dad's a gymnastics coach. He obviously didn't follow into gymnastics. Sometimes that's the case, isn't it? You don't really want your parent as your coach, do you?
Thomas Radford there, 108.26.
Yeah.
He looks absolutely stoked with that swim.
He
Love to see the
does.
smiles and the celebration. So congratulations to him. What a ripper time.
Doncaster Templestowe. William Upson from Warrigal. Coach Paul Myers was the coach of Callum Halloran Lavelle. Paul, a great technical coach. Has done a great job out in Warrigal. It's gone from strength to strength, that club. We've got lane 6, Su Yang Lo on propulsion. Excellent turn there. But here we go, DVE, Ashley Lansbury. Outside smoker. Doing a lovely job. Sticking to that lane rope so he's not near the wall, so there's no drag of the water coming off the wall. Yeah, 108.76. Not bad.
Great swim from those boys there. A lot of them heading under that 110, which is just great to see.
Spencer Davis there from Melton next to him. Also a big PB. See these boys, they all stomp on the kicker, don't they? Just to make sure. Do you think it's to make sure, or is it just a bit of a dominance, like stomp?
I think it's a bit of both.
Bit of both. I guess you've got to check it, haven't you?
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure it's
And also they slap themselves.
yeah, slapping.
You know,
It's really become a thing, hasn't it?
You're going to beat yourself up before you swim, do you? I mean, come on, lads.
Well,
You know, cut yourselves a break. You wouldn't be doing that if you were doing the 400 IM, would you? Swing off without hurting yourself.
Heat 4 in the water now. There's a few leading out there.
I know, it's spread out, isn't it?
Lane 1, Austin Robbins. Lane 4, Nam Lee. Lane 6, Andre Tallarico. And lane 8, Jack Gonzalez. Really putting it to each other, but I think lane 4, Nam Lee.
He's really gone for it, hasn't he, from Cheltenham?
Last 25 has been a ripper from him, so full stroke on the wall. 107.53 and only 0.05 behind him, Andre Tallarico, 107.58.
That they're quite high, the angle of attack for breaststroke swimmers in their dive, because they really need a deeper dive with doing that pull out and then coming up. So it's a lot different to the freestyle events when they're entering the water.
Yeah, I think the biggest difference as well is they can go past 15 metres. So
yes,
their split stroke, if they're strong enough and it works for them, it can go past 15 metres. Hugh Cran having a ripper first 50 here, 30.57. About half a body length.
Grammar Aquatic. Like that cap as well. And Swimland we've got out there.
He's put about a body length on the rest of the field, Hugh Cran here, so really looking to have a good swim here this morning. Try and get himself into that final tonight.
Well, Patrick Fulcher and Milo Dressel de Bruin having a bit of a tussle over there, but I think Milo's going to get it. Yeah, second, 106.84. And third, Harry Liu over on the far side. Well done, Harry, sneaking in the wadding. Kieran Singhi, now 27 years old. I had the pleasure of coaching him back at CA Tritons. Extremely talented swimmer. has swum in the World Championships here for Sri Lanka. Here's another fact for you. David Wilkie, the Olympic champion for Great Britain back in 1976. Born in Sri Lanka, but Scottish. There you go.
Well, we're just waiting for the technical difficulty here.
And also David passed away this year. Wonderful man, absolutely fantastic person, and sadly missed now by all his friends and the swimming fraternity. It was the first breaststroke swimmer to have that sort of long, really over the water recovery. Sort of revolutionised it a bit, to be honest.
Well, Sam, we really have to watch the race here, I think, because our scoreboard that we look at has turned off, so we'll be looking at the live stream like the rest of you are.
Yeah, that's right. Well, he's out there, Keelan, you've got to say. He always is very good over the 50. An excellent technician too. Oh, we've got it back. Thank goodness. And lane 3, Jack Gurry. Looking very powerful, Jack. He's from the Nunawading Swimming Club. And also from Sam Matheson from Nunawading too. So these three look pretty dominant. See if Kieran can hang on, and he is. He's actually, coming back really well. He was just telling me he only does 2 sessions a week, but he always pulls it out of the bag.
2 sessions a week and to go 102.49, I think is really, really impressive. So Jack Gurry not far behind him, 102.76.
Of course, here in Victoria we had Sam Williamson representing us over in Paris. So just the 2 double-barreled names, Callum Muller and Lavelle, and Felix Dressel to Bruin there in this final heat. Now, I wonder if it's going to be flat out this morning or whether there will be a little bit of tactics.
Well, Callum almost missed the final of the 200 IM earlier with his tactics, so we might see him
from that warning.
Calvin Reid, though, having a really great first 50 here.
He is.
Training partner of Sam Williamson under Craig Jackson, so we know that he's a good at sprint breaststroker.
Did you train with Craig?
I did, yes.
You did, yes.
It's a very good at first.
I wonder if it took it out of him yesterday, Callum and Lavelle, because, he had a lot of races.
Calvin's looking really
He's
good
looking
here.
really good, isn't he?
Touch the wall, 101.78. That's a good time from him. Callum. Sorry, Felix Dressel de Bruin, 102.55.
Yeah, third. Ferran Fernandez. And 1. Oh, that wasn't the last heat.
So got one more, Sam.
Callum Lavelle will have to just bite his nails. Only for now.
Adam Selwood, another training partner of both Calvin and Sam under Craig. Lots of breaststrokers in that group.
Yeah. I bet the biomechanics is absolutely working overtime because it's a very technical stroke, and the biomechanists really have to watch the breaststroke swimmers, make sure that they don't have any technical issues, always calculating the finest detail of the strokes. Having the VIS so close at hand to MSAC is a huge advantage. He looks good though, doesn't he, Adam Selwood? But next to him, Lockie Chan, a young and up-and-coming swimmer from Nunawading, is not letting them get away. Bill Thomas, Burbank.
1:00.49 there from Adam. That's a good
Nice.
swim. It's the fastest we've seen this morning.
Lockie Chan, that's fantastic. What's his time? 1:01. I think he'll be going faster tonight. So we've got the 100 breaststroke for multi-class. Got a nice wave there for the audience. Cooper Harrington, you have plenty waves.
Well, Sam, we've seen these multi-class athletes a lot over the last couple of days.
Oh,
It's just,
honestly, they are just really epitomising toughness, aren't they?
they really are.
They all look really good, very close between the centre lanes.
Hamish Keenan, a real up-and-comer in the S9 category. He's S9 in breaststroke.
Yes, that's hard to keep up with, isn't it? Really. I suppose because of breaststroke being a technical stroke and it can affect. I think there was, it wasn't fair when the classifications were grouped together, and if it's like a leg amputation or an arm, it makes such a difference in breaststroke, doesn't it? And I think they've modelled it so that it's a lot better for the categories in the swimmers.
Yes,
Riley
definitely.
Blitz though, he splits it again, hasn't he? 120. He's got best time of 115, but he didn't have to push that there. Like we said, they've had so many races.
They definitely have. But we just saw the men multi-class. We're about to see the women.
And with the new tech suits, all these races, how many swims do you get out of a tech suit?
It really depends. I used to like wearing a brand new one for my big events, so Olympic trials or World Championship trials, our main event of the year, and then I would usually use that one for the rest of the season. So it really depended. Obviously, the first few swims are going to be the best few swims, and then when it comes to state championships and things like that, using them again, and probably a suit for me would last around 12 months.
Yeah.
And I would use my older suits for smaller competitions, and then brand new suits for those larger ones.
Is there any difference between the brands for you?
I think there was, yes. I preferred to wear Speedo. That was my preference, and I found that they were a little bit looser in the legs. Being a backstroker, I didn't like my legs feeling really restricted. I like to have a bit of movement. And then the upper body was really tight, so it held in my core really well.
Yes.
And then I tried Arena a couple of times, and they were a bit of the opposite. So they were tighter around the legs, more loose around the upper body. So it was really, really dependent on your physical makeup and how your body was structured, and then what stroke you swim. You see a lot of our freestyle and backstrokers in Speedo, Kaylee
Yes.
McEwen, Ariane Titmus,
you
Molly
wouldn't want
O'Callaghan.
your legs to be restricted on breaststroke either, would you, really?
Yeah,
I don't
but then
suspect.
you see a lot of butterflies in arena. So
Yes.
it really just depends. And
Well, yes, because usually I was big on the lat muscles. So, you might need it a bit bigger on the top half.
yeah, definitely. Well, these girls are putting on a show here. Lane for Grace Ryder. Nice time from her. 1:25.89.
Yeah, that is really lovely and smooth. In fact, all of the girls holding that base position. Minimal splash. See there, Sarah Howard lane 3, she does that where you do 2 strokes where you've got your face in. That is allowed, you don't have to, as long as your head's breaking the surface, you don't have to breathe. Keely Warwick coming in. Big programme Keely's had. PB 2:15 down here, and she's gone a 2:12.87. Well done. She's had a cracker of a weekend. She's had a PB nearly every swim. Or actually every swim. Oh no, it's no rest, is it? Look, the 100 fly for the girls. I was speaking to Mia, she said she would love to go under the minute. I would love to.
I would love to see her go under a minute. Well, we're into our final event of the program this morning. This evening we will see event 64, women's 1500 freestyle, but this morning we've got 5 heats of this event 63, the women's 100 metre freestyle.
Well, we are finishing the session.
Sorry, 100 metre butterfly.
Yeah, we are finishing the session with the best stroke ever invented. Invented in 1952. Came from breaststroke.
Having a ripper start out over there. Ali Yap in lane 0. She's really taking it out hard. It's good to see. She's only 14 years of age.
Yeah, lane 4 as well. Roulon Wang. Yeah, like I said about the 200, it's no good trying to tactically hold back sometimes. You've just got to go with your natural rhythm. Otherwise, you try and not swim that, and it can just work out worse for you in the end.
You land Yar having a really good swim here. Good last 50.
Nice. 108.28. PB. Second. Well, quick there. Couldn't even get that out. We would have wiped it off. Somebody wants to get home for the lunch, don't they? Hey! That's a great start by Caitlin Ord. Caitlin's also had a really good lot of swims this weekend, only 14 years of age. Trains the house down, she is a worker. Same with Kelly McEwen, same kind of thing. Just work real hard. So, if you put the work in, there's no way. You might have the odd blip where you might not PB for a while and then it'll just drop again. Sarah Cooper from Furbank out there well as well. And in lane 9, Olivia Bailey, Sir Algan.
It's a great swim from Caitlin here. She really took it out fast and hard.
Yeah, she's
held on in the end as well. Hopefully she can get a full stroke on the wall here, and she does.
Well under that 107 personal best time. She was totally made up with her swims yesterday, and there's another one. Did I say I've been coaching her the past couple of weeks? No, only
Drop
joking,
that in
Jez.
there,
If you're
Jez.
listening, I'm only joking. Great. Middle lane, Mayo, who's looking at 59. You can pull the other girls through. You just don't know when you're toughing it out in a race. It'd be great if we had a few people under that 16 mark.
Definitely. Hopefully we see in these last few heats.
These two, Abby Harrington and me, just neck and neck.
Mia probably having the better of the turn there, but Abby coming through in the swim.
Yeah, Mia comes out a little high, maybe, but that's probably just due to it being 100. You sink lower down in the 200. But then from this angle, it doesn't look that way, so it just is from that other angle there. Very nice.
Abby there, 101.96, 102.06. Those two girls with swims.
Yeah, Milan Cruz there coming in third place. Great swims there this morning. Great score rate for Stella Solomoni. That blocks. Wasting no time.
Lily Kosh we saw earlier in the 200 breaststroke, 100 backstroke. Now she's doing the butterfly. Jack of all trades, hey?
Yeah, that's right, Great underwater work. I know, so someone so tall, being good at fly and breaststroke, sometimes you pigeonholed into the freestyle and backstroke events, but completely dispelling that myth, Lily Kosh.
Definitely. You can actually just see how long her arms are when they come out of the water, but she's got a really nice stroke. 101.27 there from Lily, 101.40 from Isabella Osborne. Good swim, slightly faster than the heat previously.
Good. Now we've got quite a few people dropped out of this. So it's all down this end. Adriana Chen was dancing to the music there, so she's pumped. Zara Jeffrey, great start. 5 in the water first. But yeah, look at Rihanna, she was bopping away there and she's obviously got a good rhythm going. Dancing. I really love her stroke technique. Look how she's entering from first, the palms facing the ceiling as they exit, which means that she's making it so easy for herself getting those arms on the return. It also makes a quick return of the arms, so your body's not sinking at all. But Zara Jeffrey, lane 8, great young swimmer. Also lane 3, Layla Mahfouz, Elton. But it looks like Rihanna's going to take this one out by a country mile. Probably 101.41. It's going to be a great final tonight, isn't it? Good fly. Second, Zara Jeffrey, 104.7. And third, Layla Mahfouz. Well, it's going to be a great final. I just don't know whether I can stay up that late. My age. I might be in pyjamas watching that tonight.
Sam, I think it's only on at about 7:38 o'clock.
No, that's it. Yes, pyjama time for me.
Oh, well, on that note, that is the end of our heat session here this morning. Thank you, everyone, for joining Sam, myself, and Kalia.
It's been lovely working with you today.
It has, yes, and if you're watching, join us all tonight for the finals, and watch before these swimmers go at the UNCLOUD 2024 Victorian Open Championships.
Mia, do you want to ask Lex to replace you in the relay?